The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those of you who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack, this like I'm Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
Before we start the show, we want to thank our sponsors, Pillars. Pillars is the best clothing line in the Chicagoland area. If you're looking for a dope hoodie, a sweatsuit, shirts, shoes, or even stuff for your kids, Pillars is where you should go. You can visit any of their 4 store locations in the Chicagoland area or visit pillarsclub.co and order online. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. After a long 2-week hiatus, we are back on the air. It is I'm Not Gonna Hold You. And of course, I'm your host, Scott. You know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarberChairScott. Follow the Barbers Chair Network at BarbersChairNet. On Twitter and Instagram, follow H&B Media at H&B Media TV on Twitter, at H&B Media on Instagram. And of course, get in tune with our partners at Pillars at pillarsclub.co. And of course, visit them on Instagram at pillars_club or visit any of their 3 store locations in the Chicagoland area. Man, it is Monday, April 8th. 2024. We've got a packed show for y'all, man. Sorry about the 2-week break. Had a lot of stuff I had to take care of, man, but we are back rocking with y'all as we get ready for the last week in the NBA season. Heading into that is next week will be the play-in. We got the playoffs shortly after that. We're 2 weeks away from the NBA, not from the NBA, but from the NFL draft. Thank God. If you've been following our show, if you've been listening to all this draft coverage we've been having, we're pretty happy that this is coming to an end, man. Of course, we're going to be getting to a whole bunch of things. We've got Courtney joining us later in the show to talk some baseball on the hot corner. We've got the homie Larry Legend will be joining us with Respect the Culture each and every week on this show. We'll be talking about that J.Cole Kendrick thing, man. Looks like Cole went out sad. So we definitely going to be talking about that. The homie Pavi will be joining us in just a minute for Weekend in the Association. Mikey will not be joining us. Had some technical difficulties, man, but he will be joining us later on in a couple weeks. He's got some stuff he's taking care of too, but we will all be together very, very soon with everybody on there. We appreciate everybody watching, everybody tuned in on YouTube, on Twitter, everywhere that you're watching right now, man. So we appreciate y'all. I want to start this with my sound off before I bring in the rest of the crew. Man, amazing big weekend this past weekend in entertainment and sports. We got to start off with a saluting South Carolina for winning their 3rd championship with Coach Dawn Staley, and just the amazing run that they've had being there in their undefeated season. And just dominating this entire season, man. Also got to give some big love to, Iowa. You got to give some love to UConn and everything they've did this past weekend with the big numbers they've had. The streaming numbers for women's basketball this week were crazy. In fact, the UConn and Iowa game on Friday is the most watched basketball game in ESPN history at 14.2 million viewers. And that's on a Friday night. That's usually a night where people go out and enjoy themselves, with people watching that big game going on Friday night. So definitely got to salute them. Dawn Staley is the first Black coach in NCAA history to win 3 NCAA titles, and they went 38-0 this week. So you definitely got to show love to them. I love the love she showed Caitlin Clark in her post game. Definitely going to get into that. I feel like there was a lot of hate with Caitlin this past weekend. So we're going to get into that in a minute, but definitely got to show love to her and just everything that the ladies did. For a guy like me who I find it the chore just to get through the NBA. To be completely honest with you, I completely don't know anything about what's going on with male, with the men's college basketball. In fact, I had to be reminded that tonight was the national championship. I was wondering why there wasn't any NBA games on the schedule, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't watched that many of these games, but I've watched more. I've watched more women's games this year than I've watched any of those. And to see just everything that they've done, and to have people who are casual watchers like myself even know, who these ladies are, who the players are, and what the actual teams were involved in this is a far cry, and it shows just really the growth of the entire thing they've got going on. And this is going to continue right into the WNBA with Caitlin Clark getting drafted. Andrew Reese just announced she's going to be going to the draft. So big shout out to them. Also, stuff that went on this weekend, WrestleMania 41. That was one thing about me. I used to be a massive diehard wrestling fan when I was a kid in the early teens, man. Now I just, I'm a casual watcher. I pop in. I'm a WrestleMania watching nigga. Like, I watch, the build up towards Mania. I watch the Raw after Mania like tonight, and you probably won't see me against maybe Survivor Series. But I thought it was a real good show, very entertaining show. I am The Rock stan to see just his influence on everything these past couple months leading up to this big storyline was incredible. Incredible match with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes finally finished the story. They did the little Bret Hart, correct me if I'm wrong, bang WrestleMania 10 moment with bringing everybody together at the end with him hosting the championship belt up. The Hall of Fame was great. I loved Paul Heyman's speech, and they had 145,000 people in 2 nights in Philadelphia over there at the Link, which was big. And I was also thinking, as a guy who, really watched heavy during the Attitude Era, if they had 2-night WrestleManias back in the day, that joint would have been easily $200, and I would never been able to see it because we definitely wasn't going to be paying the $5 back then. But that was just a big, incredible moment for that. And just to see, like, in the match with all the old school guys come back, of course, Rock, Undertaker, Cena, and just all the different things. Snoop Dogg has the best life in America. Like, Snoop gets paid to be everywhere. He was all over that thing, so that was a good thing. And of course, the series finale of Curb Your Enthusiasm was this week. So I definitely got to give my hats off to them. As you can see, I got the hat on right now. For 24 years, 12 seasons, in my opinion, funniest sitcom of all time. So definitely a big, big week. So I want to shout out to everybody who did something big in entertainment this week, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat room right now. Yes, we are back. Shout out to everybody tuning in. But let's bring in Pavi. Let's bring in the entire crew as we get ready to start the show. We might be a little slow today. This is like, we ain't done this a couple weeks. And as you can look at my face, look like we all tired. I did not get a lot of sleep last night. And like at all. and we can tell Bane to get a lot of sleep.
Man, yeah, I ain't get no sleep at all, fam. I went from WrestleMania to J.Cole.
Yes, and we were getting to that.
Ass nigga.
As Lero joins on the show. But how y'all feeling? Pav, how you feeling, man? You were on mute, brother. Oh, there you go. I had you on mute. That's my fault.
No, I said I'm chilling, bro. I can't complain.
Dante, how about you, bro?
I'm solid, bro. Shout out to Don Staley. That was a great game. Like you said, we're gonna get into the Caitlin Clark dialogue because I do think it's interesting. Something we could talk about. But shout out to them. That was great. The White Sox, I foolishly tried to tap back in, but that's over.
I don't know why. I don't know why you did that.
You see, I got a new hat on today. I'll probably just rotate hats around. Fuck it. But nah, bro, I'm good. Atlanta treated me good.
Hey, I got drafted by the Mariners in the 2nd round on MLB The Show.
Oh, nigga, I thought you about to say real life. No, that's what's up.
Bang has a underground baseball career that we didn't know about.
Right.
I mean, I played that shit, when I was a shorty, but yeah, MLB The Show, man. Second, I should have got drafted in the 1st round too. That's some bullshit. Now I'm down in Arkansas in AA.
Them be the worst part. When you putting up mad numbers on MLB The Show and minor leagues, they still ain't called you up. Yeah, I'm like, what else I gotta do? I got 80 home runs in 2 months. Call me up.
I'm on a 50 game hitting streak.
I done stole 60 bases. Call me up, man. Shout out to Gustavo. He said these guys have me listening to electrician podcast 2 weeks. We back. Yeah, we apologize that, but we are
That's
back.
That's nasty.
Yeah, we apologize for
like what they talk about on them podcasts.
Right.
I hope you learned something, my nigga.
Yeah, I hope you learned something.
The Om podcast or some shit. Like, what the fuck?
But let's get into it, man. Let's talk some basketball before we get to the NBA. I want to address the Caitlin Clark thing because I feel like there has been a lot of hate. Ain't no feel. I know there's been a lot of hate over these past couple weeks. Really just the entire season. But I feel like it really turned up this past weekend on the Twitter TL. Of course, we saw it down at Tarasi said, I don't look at that as hate more than anything. That's just like an old head who wants to bring the young upstarts. I guess that is hate. It is hate, but it's hate that I can respect because she's so decorated. It's kind of like when Shaq talks about Dwight Howard, or Shaq goes up there talking about averaging 28 and 15 like we weren't alive when he played. Like I don't ever remember Shaq averaging 28 points and 15 rebounds. Like to me, that's what it got to. But Caitlin Clark is a special player when people are just bringing her down and they think there's a conspiracy to get her into the national championship game instead of her just being as great as she is. Now, with that call on Friday night that a lot of people got upset about, I get it. Was it a moving screen? Yes, it was. Do you call it? Probably not. I don't like calls. I don't like petty calls like that in heat in the moments. I was somebody who didn't like the roughing the quarterback call or the unnecessary roughness call on Patrick Mahomes 2 seasons ago in the AFC Championship game. I didn't like that one. I feel like you got to let that rock. But a foul is a foul, and that's pretty much what it is. I think what this is you're seeing as I feel like this, and not that I have a problem with people hating a big time player because that just comes with the territory. But I do feel like she is putting a major spotlight on this game. Now, I feel like if you're a South Carolina fan, I understand why you would probably be upset because maybe your team isn't getting the spotlight that you feel they deserve for going undefeated, winning their third championship, second in the last 3 years. I get where this coming from, but I feel like there should be more love because she's putting the spotlight that wasn't there before. Is she doing it strictly by herself? No, but I feel like all the hate right now is unnecessary. Do I think that, she's going to go into the league and dominate from day one? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't watch too much to know to think that she'll go in here and win Benyama the thing, even though me and Pappy had a debate about that this weekend he said it took him much, but I think it took 2 weeks, but whatever, about his domination of the league. But I feel like a lot of this comes to a point where I feel like it's because there's a white woman being in this spotlight, and that's where I think it comes from, which I get. But I feel like we just need to appreciate it for what it is. Every person who is great at their craft coming into this league, any league, is gonna get hyped up. We see it with Caleb Williams. We've been doing this for months with Bears fans or other people saying he better be good. Y'all acting like he's this. We need to stop having what people say about these players take away from how they're actually playing. And that's what I feel like I got from. I feel like we need to be enjoying what she's bringing and bringing these new eyes to the game and making the game bigger and bigger than what it actually is. Pat, what you think about, the hate that we've been seeing from Caitlin Clark?
I mean, I disagree with I don't think she gets hated on. I don't think her gets hated on. I think that people hate the discourse surrounding her. And I think that obviously we live in America whenever there's a black and white thing, people choose sides. Like even the LSU Iowa game at like one point in time turned into like a whole race war. It was like, wow, I saw people tweeting, like, granted, it's Twitter and everything is over centralized, but it was like, how could you be a black man and root for Iowa? Because Caitlin Clark cold, bro. And I just like watching her play basketball. But like, I think that people just hated the discourse that comes from her. Obviously, it's a white woman who plays at a white school. Like literally the whole team is basically white. I think they had like one like mixed lady, but basically the whole team is white. She's a white woman from Iowa. So you have like middle America. I mean, and not even middle America. I mean like the middle of the map of America, like that part of America, the super Midwest, super white Midwest going up against LSU. They actually happen to win. Also, I think that people look at Angel Reese and I guess I don't want to know about I would say the criticism that Angel Reese receives. I think a lot of people want to see Caitlin Clark receive that same criticism, but the fact of the matter is they're different people. I think Angel was a little bit more like brash or whatever. And granted, no fault to her. She's just being herself. But when you are being yourself, sometimes being yourself does come with things. And Caitlin is a little bit more. She lets her game talk more than she talks, I would say. But I think that what she's doing for the sport has been, I mean, what her, Paige, Juju, Angel, even Dawn Staley, just being coaching the way she coaches, dressing the way she dresses, and then having her team going out there and dominating. I think it all does something great for the game. And I think that in general, it was just a great spectacle for women's basketball. And I will be excited to see If her hype train can carry over long term into the WNBA, because I'm somebody that thinks that. Granted, yes, I do think that we've had more eyes on it. Obviously, you can't argue with the numbers this year, but I always thought that, like, as far as the women's game, women's college basketball always seemed to be the peak of women's basketball to me. And then sometimes when these players get to the league, they don't tail off. It's just like the W. You play in the summer. Sometimes the games at odd times. So maybe that they don't get viewed as much, or you stop hearing about their name as much as you did when they're in college. But long story short, I don't think that people were hating on her. I just think that some people hated the discourse surrounding her because, again, we're in America and there's always a race element that comes into these things like this.
Dante, what's your take on what's been going on with this? Do you agree with Pav that it's not hate?
Yeah, I do agree with Pav. I think the hate is more so toward the coverage of Caitlin Clark. I think the hate that she gets is from casuals and people who just hate on everything women do. Like, that's a part of Twitter and that's a part of being online that we have to acknowledge. You got some niggas out here who just hate women, and no matter what happens, they're gonna say some negative shit. And as far as like Diana Taurasi and all the players' reaction, I actually love that because we're starting to see, so often people try to separate men and women's basketball, but the competitiveness is the same, bro. Like, you're talking about people who are great at their craft. You have a young person who's been great on a lower level who's about to come to where I am, and y'all are already crowning her as the GOAT, saying she gonna do this, she gonna do that. So naturally, as competitive, they like, nah, wait a minute, like, this shit not sweet. Like, it was the same thing Cheryl Swoops said when they asked Cheryl Swoops, is she gonna come straight to the W and dominate? It's like, no, nobody does that. You feel me? And so, and again, to Pappy's point about the black-white thing, when you have a sport that's been dominated by black women, naturally they're gonna be sensitive about this. Like, you got people who are overlooking Cheryl Swoops, overlooking Cheryl Miller, you know what I'm saying? Tina Thompson. Like, there's so many black women who paved the way and held this game up, Don Staley included. And now that, like you said, it is a great thing that we got more eyes on the game. You got more people who are coming in to watch it. But when you had the people who set the tone and laid the foundation being essentially ignored, and this is an even deeper conversation because you have black women in the WNBA now that would tell you, shit, well, all y'all talk about is Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi anyway. So it's like, it's just adding to it, it's adding fuel to the fire. So I think the hate per se is more so toward the coverage that she receives, because everybody with two eyes can see the shorty can hoop. Like, that's a non-starter. And then also we got recency bias. She's the fresh new face. Like, people don't remember Maya Moore because Maya Moore's retired. Like, they've already allowed that to start slipping. But those of us who watched knew how great she was. But I think it's more so it's the coverage, and that's never gonna change. And honestly, that might be a good thing because that just shows people, people are actually tuned in. They locked into what's going on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like you can say that with any major phenom or anybody coming to a new league. Like, we're always gonna be mad about the coverage, but that's just the world we live in right now. Period. Like, that's why I think I could see if she wasn't. Like, it's some stuff overboard, yeah. Maybe some stuff is overboard, but it's not like she ain't been hooping. Like, so that's why, like, I feel like we got to take the coverage with not a grain of salt, but there's a reason why they're talking about it. It's like the same thing as I'm gonna keep bringing up Caleb Williams. Is Caleb Williams Patrick Mahomes? No, but sometimes he might do a spiral or something like that, one of them side passes that look Patrick Mahomes. Like, they're gonna compare him to it. We've been seeing the next LeBron for all these type of years. I think maybe with that it comes with hate, but that's just how we're winning 24/7, 365 news coverage with these things. So when you have somebody who's holding it down, you're gonna get that type of thing. But I did see a lot of stuff on, at least on my Twitter timeline. As Bang says, fuck Twitter. I don't worry about your timeline. But like, a lot of people was, oh, this is a ploy to get her into the national championship. It's not that deep, in my opinion. But Bang, what you think about this?
I think multiple things could be right at the same time here. I think that the black women in the WNBA have a good reason to feel away. This girl ain't even in the league yet. So yeah, they should feel away. Ice Cube offering $5 million and everything. Yeah, they should feel away. But also you do have to understand you don't have to curb your feelings even though you know what's going on. Like, you could just, if you wanna trivialize it, just go watch the Great White Hype movie and go watch how Irish Jimmy Conklin rose to fame for a specific reason, right? So, and that's not Caitlin Clark's fault. Like, none of this is Caitlin Clark's fault. She just so happened to be a white girl that's good at basketball. So there is going to be a lot of people of color that's not in the WNBA, and quite honestly, that don't watch the WNBA, that's going to have feelings. There's a lot of casual fans out here that's jumping on the "we hate this woman" bandwagon because she a white woman balling. But at the same time, again, they have never probably watched a full game, college game, let alone a full WNBA game, right? With that being said, again, it's not Caitlin Clark's fault. She didn't ask for this. She's just great at what she does. And I'm not mad at the WNBA players at all. Like, if anything, honestly, if they did not say that, I would have been like, okay, y'all on bullshit. Because now it's competition. And like, now you're going to be going up against grown women. And I believe that the women of the WNBA had to say that. Especially Diana Taurasi had to say that. Why? Because now you're bringing in a rivalry before she even, you're creating a rivalry before she even steps foot in game, whatever the stadium name is in Indianapolis. Like, before she steps in, now you can't wait to see Diana Taurasi versus her. Now you can't wait to see all of these women versus her. That's what brings ratings.
The Mercury, damn, they're already advertising. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Yeah, no,
they are. They are.
Yep. Yeah. So the thing about it is you need this in order to keep the story going. So from a marketing standpoint, they would be dumb as hell just to be like, yo, we can't wait to have her in the association. It's gonna be great, and yeah. And all of those other fans, they're expecting that because they're women. They just want to graciously bring her in and, yeah, girl power. No, Diana Taurasi, like, nah, you think that shit's sweet. Now, wait till your ass get up in the league and we got to play these killers.
Yeah, G, and I
can bring a different audience because of competition. Because, Dante, you tell me, because I don't know. I'm not about to cape for this shit. I don't watch this shit like that. But if you correct me if I'm wrong, but the Aces and the Liberty built super teams, right?
Yeah.
All right. Outside of those two, then what's the rivalry in the WNBA?
I mean, you got like Sparks. It's like you got like regional things.
No.
It's more so regional
players though.
Who's the player?
Damn.
Fair.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say like they tried to make AJ and Stewie a thing, but that's not really a thing.
I think you had more, but then like everybody started teaming up, and it's like, well, we all on the same team now. So I mean, like, yeah. But like, no, that's like other ones coming up, like Sabu, and like you could like makeshift things. But yes, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's why that's important.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna
go ahead.
Before you go, Scott, I agree with Bang because what's one of the major complaints everybody has about the NBA right now?
No rivalry.
It's no rivalries, no competition. It's all some AAU bullshit, which is, some surface level argument. But when you really look at it, that's how a lot of people feel that's what the game is right now. So for them, I love the fact that they aren't just embracing shorty with open arms. I'm sure it's going to be, sisterhood, all that other good shit. But in terms of playing basketball, we're still competitors. Like I said, they've been carrying this league and not getting the credit for it, and now y'all finna just give it all to this white girl. So like, no, and it ain't all race because shit, Diana Taurasi white. So I mean, it's just players in general they're gonna feel some type of way because you're taking this woman and trying to crown her day one.
Yeah, I get that too. My whole thing is I just look at it like I get all the actual not complaints, but like feelings for the black woman who played in the game and feel like, oh, well, this white woman's just getting credit. That's usually how it goes with anything. And not just in sports, with anything. But at the same time, she's a needle mover, bro. Like I would understand more if she wasn't nice. You know what I'm saying? If she was like kind of overrated, I would get it. But she hooping. So like, and I'm looking at it more from not even the player perspective, because I like that too. Diana Taurasi's supposed to say that. Like, I'm the big dog. I done been here for a long time. You're not just finna come up in here and think you finna be dominant. I get that. from the fan perspective, or people who are trying to act like we're, disrespecting the pioneers of the game by giving love to this person, I just don't think that's the case. You're going to go with whatever the hot new thing is, any type of player who comes in there, and they're, there's going to be people. We saw this with LeBron. LeBron's own teammate said, oh, we going to see how he fits in with us. Like that's not how it works. And he was the needle mover. She's the needle mover. So they're going to talk about what moves the needle. That's just that simple to me. So, but I think this type of publicity and just the fact that we're discussing this is great for the game. It's great for women's basketball, because when I can't ever remember a time, and I know, Pav, you said you feel like, they've always been like I guess it's been the best college basketball, but at least from a casual viewer or somebody who doesn't really pay attention at all, I've never seen this type of outside hype to the point where I know these people, because I don't watch it. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to y'all and act like I watch it. I don't watch that much NBA as it is. So it's not just a thing against women's basketball. It's just me with the sport of basketball in general. It's just not as entertaining to me as it once was. But I think this kind of coverage is great. And I think if anything, it's going to help. Is she the only face of the league? No, there's other great players. Asia Wilson, everything they're doing in Las Vegas. And now, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that them moving the home game was because of her. But I also saw somebody else said the Aces have moved to a big arena before. So
yeah,
I'm not too sure. But either way, salute to her. I do think it's crazy that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese be making less in the WNBA than they're making in college, what I think is crazy. And I didn't know that the WNBA draft is that quick. Like, they have like no time.
Next week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, but the season started in like 3 weeks.
Yep,
which is insane.
It's
how
not.
long is that training camp?
This shit started like the week after the draft.
That's wild.
I mean, but they play in the summer. You can't play in the winter with the NBA. So like, it's just like an unfortunate circumstance thing.
Yeah, and before we go, I just want to say this. I need everybody to remember this, Black people in particular. When you click on these links, when you watch these videos, only thing that counts is the views. They don't give a fuck about your outrage. And as a matter of fact, they know that the more outrage, the more people are going to click on it.
Yeah.
So a lot of
They're
times
happy
they
about
know
your outrage.
Thank you, professional. Let
them
know
they're
happy. Like,
they are
what they want.
They are fist pounding in meetings because of your outrage. Like,
exactly,
that was
bro.
The point of it. That was the point of it. But let's move on to our next topic, man. We want to talk about LeBron James, but LeBron James Jr. Mr. LeBron James Jr., Bronny James, as we all know him, he was a freshman at USC this season. He is entering himself into the NBA draft, but also entering into the transfer portal in college, basically meaning he's going to be working out for teams, taking meetings for teams, see what his draft stock is like. Worst case scenario, if they don't like what they're hearing or he doesn't get drafted, he has the option to go back and play, but of course for another team, because he doesn't want to be at USC anymore. When I first read the headline, I thought this is kind of crazy because he didn't play that well this year. Now I'm gonna cut him some slack because he had a crazy health scare. Which nobody's gonna come off something like that and just be hooping right away. That's just not gonna happen. I think health is number one. Glad that he's actually moving and shaking, and he in fact even got to play basketball this year is great. But just looking at the numbers and the playing time, it didn't look like he'd be somebody who's gonna be NBA drafted. So first I thought it was crazy, but then I read the entire thing about it, and I like it. I think it makes sense for a couple reasons. One, your father's LeBron James. We can sit up here and lie all we want. There might be a team out there that drafts him just because they might have a chance at the LeBron James farewell tour. Nothing that LeBron and his camp do isn't calculated. Everything they do is calculated. He's been saying for years that he wants to play with his sons. Is it unnecessary pressure? 100%. But that's just part of what it is. And he's even talked about retirement over these last couple of weeks, saying that I don't know how much longer I got in me, maybe 1 or 2 years left. So he's been floating that out there. Maybe this is a possibility where somebody drafts Bronny just for the prospect of maybe having LeBron as, on their team for farewell tour. He has a player option this offseason, if I'm not mistaken, where he can decide what his next path is going to be. Is he going to, stay in Los Angeles and move on? This is all things that really matter. Now, is it something that benefits Bronny in that perspective? If a team just drafts him just because they want his daddy? No. But I do think that's part of it. But I think it's also a way to look at, well, see what these other teams are thinking. What do they think about his game? Is there a plan to grow him even if LeBron is there or when LeBron does retire and they are on the same team? What's that going to be like? And if LeBron and his team don't like what they're hearing, he can just go to another college and try again. So from that perspective, I just look at it as Bronny keeping all his options open. And I personally don't have a problem with it. I think this is cool. I just hope that if he does go to an NBA team, that there is actually a plan in place for him to actually grow and become a decent player. I don't think he'll be, great or anything like that, but I do think it's a good move. Pat, what you think about this?
I think it's a good decision. For one, I think that obviously, like you mentioned, there's health scare, so you're probably not. I mean, the fact he even again played actual college basketball this year, I think is something that should be commended on his part. But he's been bred to be a pro since the second the man first picked up a basketball because his father was LeBron James. So I think he has a pretty good idea of how to be a professional athlete. So being in college maybe didn't even fit him that well. Like, I mean, I'm LeBron James' son. You got me going to class, bro. What are we doing? I don't want to go to class. I just want to hoop, or I just want to do X, Y, Z. I don't have to do that. And I think that I've heard, granted, I'm not going to sit here and say I watch mad USC games, but from what I know about Bronny, he doesn't seem to be more of a star. He seems to be more of a guy who could be like, let's say for a lack of better terms, like a Patrick Beverly type guy, like a Grayson Allen type guy, like one of those guys.
Josh Hart.
Yeah, like Josh Hart, like the guys who can come in and help your team, but he really depends upon the other players that are around him. Like, he's not going to be the superstar. So I don't think that college basketball in general was the best place for him because those guys kind of get lost in the shuffle. Usually in college, unless you're like a dominating ball handling guard, you're like a big like DJ Burns, or you a flat out bucket getter, you're kind of going to get a little bit lost in the sauce, or your stats may not look as good as somebody else whose game might not even translate as well to the league long term as yours. So, and then granted, you got the clutch machine behind you. All he gotta do is have a couple good workouts. People go out there and say, "Oh, we think he can be a key role player, a star role player for years to come." Somebody will take a shot on him second round, or even if he doesn't get drafted, he can be a two-way guy. He can get the chance to grow. I think that he'll at least, obviously, because of his father, probably he'll at least get the chance to play in the NBA. Now, how long he plays in the league, that's solely up on him. Like, I think, like, even when I heard about it, I was like, yo, if he could have a Wesley Matthews type career, that is perfect. And that would be a complete win for the James family and for him. So I think it's a good decision. Like I said, I just don't think that college basketball was probably the best thing for him. And I think that, again, he's been bred to be a pro. So I think that when he gets to the next level, and I think he will get to the next level, I think that eventually he will fare better in the NBA than he did in college ball.
I just want to make a quick, not comment, like a correction. B-Dot said in the chat that Bronny has to May 1st. Well, May 1st is when the portal closes, but he has till May 29th to make a decision on whether he's going to maintain his college eligibility or going to the NBA draft. So basically gives him about 2 months to go through the process and things like that. Of course, we all know the draft lottery will be before that time. So he still gives him enough time to take meetings. Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
You gotta worry about the lottery. You
gotta worry about
You don't need to watch that show. You don't need to worry about the lottery.
Ain't nothing going on up there.
Ain't nothing going on there for you, dog.
Bang, what you think about the situation for Bronny?
I'm conflicted on the college basketball thing because I think Bronny would have had a better season if he didn't have the health issues. If Bronny didn't have the health issues, he would have scored more than 5 points a game. So that I'm conflicted on because of that. But I also believe that he was a one and done player in the first place. And this is just holding to that word that he was going to be a one and done player. And the only way that he's coming back is if he shits the bed during workouts. That's it. I don't see Bronny as a top flight NBA star. I see him as, a role player off the bench. Can go to certain teams and be a quality starter. But that's I don't care who's the coach. Like, dude could go to a great developer. He's not going to be a fringe all-star even to me. Like, I'm not about to call this man Vincent Askew or some shit like that. I'm not about to call this nigga Mario Ellie.
Vincent Askew is a name, bro.
Right, yeah, I'm not about to
Name, dog.
I'm not about to call him that, you know what I'm saying? But he's definitely somebody that can make an impact on the team from a bench player perspective or just a fringe starter. I think that's what it's gonna be. I think that I don't want to call it criticism because I don't call it criticism, but I think some of the things that some people have been saying about, how LeBron is positioning his son, and then I think that's warranted. I do think that's warranted. And I think that's warranted only because of what you said in the beginning. And now the chickens is coming home to roost. It's not working out. It didn't work out the way that you expected it to. You said things to put your son on the pedestal. And as a father of 3, I will say things to put my son on the pedestal too. But I also, and this is something that I've been learning within myself. Every action has a consequence, whether it's good or bad.
Yep.
There's intended consequences and there's unintended consequences. And I think that the unintended consequence of LeBron James Jr. being your dad is the expectations. The unintended consequence of LeBron James being a very vocal dad and a megaphone for his son and being at his games and having a reality show around Sierra Canyon and all of that stuff is when you don't get to a certain level, people are going to have something to say. And with that being said, it does put more pressure on Bron Jr. to be something that he's probably not going to be. And that's the whole thing that's disappointing about it. If I was LeBron, I wouldn't do anything differently. I wouldn't change how I'm propping and positioning my son. We should all strive to do that. And when y'all all have kids on here and your kids get older, and if y'all are in a position, I would hope that you would put your son in that position.
Let's be very clear. If I am ever blessed to have kids with athletic genes and height, God bless, by the way.
Right, God
I
bless.
will be LeVar Ball on steroids.
Yes, I would be LeBron. But even with LeVar Ball, the unintended consequences is your oldest son hasn't played in 2 years. Your middle son is Huff, and your youngest son can't stay healthy either. But we happy that they made it to the league. You know what I'm saying? But things ain't working out the way that we expected it because of what you did. So you got to take that good with that bad, that happy with that sad. You can't run from it.
Are you saying that Bronny has a chance to be Cooper Manning? Is what you're saying?
Nah, I don't think he's gonna be Cooper Manning. Nah, but Cooper Manning out here eating. Like he out here eating. Like
He
I don't think.
too?
You say what?
Didn't Cooper Manning just transfer?
No,
Cooper is.
You think about Cooper Flag?
Oh, you mean the receiver
older
came to be?
Yeah, exactly. The oldest Manning, the Conor Roy of the Manning family. That's who Cooper is. But Dante, what you think about this, man? You got what's your perspective on Bronny making this move?
I mean, I've been screaming Bronny as Josh Hart for the past 2 years, but I think more than anything, once again, we keep passing on the fact. No, for real,
that's amazing.
Great career.
But here's why I'm saying that, because Bronny's gotten tied up in the GOAT conversation, which is bullshit. Because his father is the GOAT, people are looking at him the same way they looked at Marcus and Jeffrey. And they trying to keep continuously comparing him to them. And at the end of the day, when you look at what scouts have said about Bronny, people that have actually watched his development as a player, especially over these last couple of years, that's all they've ever said. They've not once has anybody ever said he's going to be a lottery pick. He's going to be a superstar. You had some people reaching with the first round shit, but even with that, once again, the kid went into cardiac arrest before the season started. So he came back on a minutes restriction. He isn't the starter. So it was a lot that happened this year that made a lot of people, it gave him just an easy target for them to shit on him. But I think this is a great move because you get a free evaluation. You see what you need to work on. You see what people are saying about you. And then you can make the choice to whether you want to work on your game in college, or you want to go, like you said, go into the draft, probably ended up in the D League or, some developmental place, and then work on your game that way. So I like the move. Again, Bronny's always going to catch crazy criticism. And I think the only thing LeBron could have done different was not name him LeBron Jr. But even still, as long as he picked up a basketball, that energy was gonna be there from people. We gotta just accept that, because no matter what he does, even if he fuck around and turns into a superstar, which none of us believe, even if he does turn into a great player, like people are gonna find a way, to try to tear him down.
Outside of obviously Ken Griffey Jr., who's the most successful son athlete? Like
Barry Bonds.
Steph.
Right, Barry Bonds. I forgot about Barry Bonds. Yeah. Steph is up there.
Arch, Peyton, and Eli.
Well, we gotta see Arch get to the league. Like,
No,
I
mean Peyton Daddy.
Archie,
Archie,
dad.
Archie, you talking about Archie? Yeah. That's right.
Archie wasn't terrible.
The Saints
was bad.
The Saints were bad. He was on the Aints.
Yeah,
and he was getting power drived into the hard concrete when he was with the Saints.
Yeah.
But, let's go on to the actual NBA, man. This is the last week of the NBA season. Thank God. I don't know about y'all, but this has been the longest NBA regular season I have ever experienced in my life. Like, this is it's just been long, bro. Like, it felt like it's been 182 games, not 82. But this is the last week of the season. A lot of playoff positioning, but a team we've been talking about a lot on here this year has been the New York Knicks. Knicks have been having a pretty good season, actually a great season compared to actual Knick history. They are 46-32 right now. They're tied. Well, they're the fourth spot because Orlando has, I guess, like the tiebreaker over them right now. So Orlando has a third spot. And by the way, it's so funny that the Bulls made that trade and they're in purgatory, and the Orlando Magic are the number 3 seed. But I'm not going to go into that right now. But if you look at exactly what they're doing, it's obviously that they need help. Now, Julius Randle is out for the rest of the season. He's going to be having surgery up on the shoulder, my bad. And they just got OG Anunoby back, even though they got blown out by the Bulls at home when he came back. Had a nice win over the Milwaukee Bucks last night. And then you also have on the other side of the Eastern Conference, Joel Embiid is back for the Philadelphia 76ers. They are currently the 7th seed in the play-in right now. They will be getting ready to play the Miami Heat if the season ends today. Pav, man, what do you think that this injury does for the Knicks? What can they do without having Julius for the rest of the year? And do you look at the Sixers as a dangerous play-in team with Embiid back?
I think it possibly puts somewhat of a damper on this season, somewhat, or it may not. I don't know. I mean, I think the Knicks are in a very interesting position, because again, I think this is the best team they've probably had since I don't even know the mid '90s. I mean, or even when they went to whatever. I think this is the best team.
Easily the best team since like '94.
Yeah. This is probably their best team, realistically, in like about 30 years. I mean, you have Jalen Brunson, who I still want to see more playoff runs from him. But he seems to be like the best guard they've had since Clyde Frazier, basically. Like, he seems to be that good. You have a very, very solid team around him. OG, I think, was one of the best trades of the season. He seems to be a superstar role player. You did get Mitchell Robinson back. Again, like, I think that you need Randall for his toughness and for his scoring. But what if you happen to make a run while Julius Randle is out? And granted, you still have all your picks. You have some tradable assets. Like, if you can make a run while Randall is out, you think, well, you may feel more comfortable packaging Randall and some picks to go out and get you something else that you may think may help you more than Randall can. But all in all, for the Knicks, I think it's a great season for them. I still think that they can be a second round team. Dare I say it, they could still maybe make the conference finals depending upon seeding. And I know. Here is why I say that, because again, the Magic are the third seed right now. But if they can jump up and get
they can win the first round because Cleveland stinks.
No, but listen, if they can jump up and get that 3 seed with the way the Bucks have been playing, are you convinced in Milwaukee right now?
No, but I would still put my life savings over the Bucks over the Knicks.
I would not. No. I would not put my life savings on it. I would put some money on it, but I'm not putting my life savings on it with the way the Bucks been playing. Life savings.
I put a dub on it.
I saw them lose to the goddamn Grizzlies the other night.
Yeah, okay. I get that. I'm not saying I believe in the Bucks, because I don't know who I believe in right now. And that's actually gonna be our next topic in a minute. But I think as somebody who has experienced the Tibbs ride, as I look at it like this, they're running out of gas. And I think Julius Randle is an important piece to them. But y'all also know how I feel about Julius Randle. Julius Randle giveth, Julius Randle taketh. He does as much bad stuff as he does good. To me, it just looks like Jalen Brunson and the rest of his team are running on fumes. Now, I do believe OG Anunoby coming back is going to help them. I do think they can 100% win the first round series. Cleveland is no. I don't know what Cleveland, they lost their last 3. You already know how both me and Pappy feel about Donovan Mitchell. We have been anti-Donovan Mitchell for a long time. But that stuff they pulled last night at Staples Center, oh my God, was blown up. 28 points. Had Paul George playing 2K. I've never seen Paul George with divine dribbles and it actually went in. So they can win that round. I just don't think they can beat a heavyweight. But I do think this is a successful season for this. We had the homie Steph, Pat. We was talking to Steph. Steph is a big Knicks fan, kind of like he had acceptance. I know Chicago sports fan what that sounds like.
No. Now, I'm not saying I would pick them to win that series. I'm just saying that, like, I think they can win the first round. And I think that if everything goes completely to hell correct, and then Brunson gonna keep playing the way, Brunson, the way he's playing right now, he's playing like a top 10 player in the NBA. He's playing like, not saying he is, I'm just saying he's playing like a top 10 player in the NBA. And again, if OG is back and his elbow is feeling, granted, I don't know what his elbow situation is like, but if it's feeling good, you have a black man over there, Harkenstein, the newfound black man,
the Black King,
the Black King. Mitchell Robinson is back. You have Hart, you have DiVincenzo. Don't forget, you still have Bogdanovich off the bench. Granted, he hasn't been, I don't think, doing what they brought him there to do, but that still is 15 to 20 points maybe on the right night. You got Burks. Like, you have pieces. And again, when I look at the East, I'm not that convinced with anybody else. So I think that for the Knicks, like I said, I think this has been a successful season. And the Randle thing, I think it could get very interesting for Julius Randle. If they can make a run without Julius Randle, because then, like I said, maybe you look to put Randle and a couple of picks because you still have all your picks, and maybe you want to go out there and get like an upgrade over on Randle. What that upgrade would be, I don't know, but that's why they get paid to figure it out, and I don't. And you asked me about the Sixers.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that granted, my thing with Embiid is that he gets away with murder
all the time.
I think that at first it was Brett Brown, then it was Ben Simmons, then it was James Harden. Even though in that game 6 last year, he was on that damn court too when they was up 7, and he wasn't shooting the motherfucking ball. I remember in game 7, he had 8 points too. I also remember that. But my thing about him is, like, if he's healthy, if he's honestly healthy, I think that, granted, I think ramping up a week and a half before the season starts to go to the playoffs is weird, and I think it's could possibly be detrimental because he's also a guy who's had a very extensive injury history. Remember, I think that the way his career has played out, we forget he damn near we didn't even know if he was ever get on the court because he missed 2 whole years in the beginning with the stress fracture in his foot. So I think that if he's healthy, why can't they get to the finals? I don't want to hear no excuses. No.
I'm not rolling, Jay.
No. At some point, if you are him, you're gonna have to be him.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Wait. This roster ain't bad. You got Tyrese Maxey, all-star. You got Buddy Hield, actually one of the best shooters of all time, Buddy Hield. Tobias Harris. Now, I know his contract, he's getting paid too much money, but he doesn't suck.
No, he doesn't suck. He's a 40-degree day. You're right as far as there's no excuse, but there's also the Sixers. That's what I'm saying.
No, him. It ain't the Sixers. It's him.
It's him.
You got Nick Nurse, who was a championship coach. What if he is there and he is healthy? Why you can't win? At some point in time, you're going to have to just turn into him. Hold on. I'm asking the question. How much better do you think this team is than the Bucks team that won in 2021?
I don't think they're better than the Bucks team that won.
So why you can't win?
No, I'm saying I don't think the Sixers are better than the Bucks in 2021.
Yeah, but I'm saying how much better do you think that Bucks team is than this Sixers team?
They're a lot better than the Sixers team because I trust Giannis a lot more than I trust Embiid for just the
No. You say that
talking about
now.
at the time. Okay, well, I'm gonna give
say that now with the knowledge.
Here's a sec. I trust their second unit more than I trust this second. I like Tyrese Maxey. Do I think he can do in the play? We always knew that Drew was going to step up defensively. We always knew that was going to be. We never really had an issue with Chris Middleton. It was just, can Giannis make the plays? So I don't trust Tobias Harris. We've seen him in the playoffs before. I don't trust him. Tyrese Maxey, he could as a second player and not have to worry about Harden having the ball all the time. Maybe he can be a playoff star that helps him beat out. That could be it. I'm not trusting Rocco. I'm not trusting the rest of these niggas on this team. And that's the issue. And then add that with Joel Embiid just not being what we need him to be. That's why I don't think it's a layup. But I also see what you're saying, because who knows who's coming out the Eastern Conference, which I'm going to go right into the next topic. Who do you trust more, the Milwaukee Bucks or the Boston Celtics? Because both could be trick-offs right here.
Yeah.
Neither of them, but if you put a gun in my head and ask me to pick, I guess I'll say the Celtics right now. I guess I'll say the Celtics right now just because of, we can't deny, granted, obviously they have good regular season all the time, but they're actually having a historic regular season right now, and I don't think we can deny that. Also, I think even when you look at their roster, they've never had a Porzingis before, and I'm going to keep saying it. I know that, because the Porzingis situation didn't work out in New York, and then Luka just didn't pass on the ball in Dallas. But last year when he was in Washington, that still was 22 points, 9 boards, 2 blocks on about 50, 40, whatever the hell he's shooting from the free throw line percentage wise. Like that's still a very good component to your offense that you didn't have in previous years when it was so much Tatum drive, kick, step back, shoot, or Brown driving to everybody and try to get a layup. Like, you do have a guy who's 7'3" and can get you some actual buckets and can also defend. You also have Drew Holiday. Derek White's playing the best basketball that he's ever played. Granted, you can move Horford to the bench now because I think, Horford, God bless his soul, but the man probably tired. He's been doing this since 2004, 2005 at this point. And with the way the Bucks are just looking, it just seems like time is running out. I think that this is going to be a Bucks team that might not even win 50 games. Like, granted, I do know the playoffs is a completely different season than the regular season, and you just have to focus on one team for 2 weeks straight. But they ain't really looked that good on the dock. Like, they've been, I think, 19-20 on the dock. They had third best record in the league under Adrian Griffin when they wouldn't even listen to him. And Doctor came in and put all the shit in, and they 19-20. Now, granted, you hope Middleton can come back. I know Dane's been in and out the lineup. Even Giannis himself has been in and out the lineup. But that's kind of one of my issues, is the fact that all of them have been in and out the lineup, and you make a coaching change. So now all y'all trying to figure it out at the same time, and we a week away, 2 weeks away from the playoffs, and they're still trying to figure things out. And we're still talking about, well, if they can do this, if they can do that, then maybe. I think Boston has a little bit more continuity. Again, I think that we always talk about players growing. I think coaches need a chance to grow too. Joe Mazzulla, this is his second year coaching this squad. I think that maybe he learned from some of his mistakes in the past. Also, you still have Brad Stevens, who was a good coach in his own right upstairs. So maybe those guys can get together and scheme something. So to answer your question, neither of them, but if you put a gun in my head and made me pick, I guess I would pick the Boston Celtics.
I'm with you. I don't trust either. I would still trust the Bucks more than the Celtics, just because I trust Giannis more than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Has nothing to do with the roster. Like I've said about not Tibbs, but Doc Rivers for years. Like, I've never seen a nigga get put into the Hall of Fame over one championship more in my life. And we saw that team wasn't the same when Tibbs left as defensive coordinator / assistant head coach. But it's, to me, where the pressure definitely is on Boston, because if Boston don't win this year, when you gonna do it? Like, I understand everybody saying Tatum's 25, Tatum this, yeah, but these niggas have been in the Eastern Conference Finals, if not every year, every other year since 2018. So eventually, it's like you gotta shit to get off the pot. Like that's really what it is right now with them. But I don't know who's coming out of these. And for all the reasons you just named about, I think that the Celtics will have the easier run to the NBA Finals, because they're going to be playing, the winner of the 9-10 game essentially will be the 8th seed. And Milwaukee's going to have a tough road. They're going to have to face probably either Miami Heat, a team that, who they lost to last year, or a team you just named, the Sixers, who we saying that, can Embiid do it? That's not an ideal first-round matchup for them, especially when you got a guy in Doc Rivers who, in my opinion, is just one of the most overrated coaches of all time. So I don't trust either, but if I had to, I would go with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now we're getting short on time, so we're gonna go to our final topic. As we just said, we're about 2 weeks away from the start of the NBA playoffs. Playing starts next week. Pav, what are some of your potential playoff matchups that you hope you get to see in round one?
I would love to see Magic Knicks. I know as it stands right now, the Magic are third and the Knicks are fourth. But I would love if like Cleveland could win or the Knicks, something could happen, and we get Magic Knicks. I think that would be a very interesting series. I know the Magic are top 5 in defense. I think they've had the best defense in the league since the All-Star break. And Paulo is a guy who obviously he's in the second year, so like the jury is still out. But I think the jury is still out as in, is he going to be one of those? You know, I mean, I know we have Wemby, so like discounting him, is he going to be one of those best guy in the league type things? Like how we look at a future with like an Ann or Shea, those type guys. Like, is he going to be in that category, or is he going to be in like one of those second tier guys? Like I don't know. I mean, no disrespect, but at this point, like a Paul George or like a Donovan Mitchell, like is he going to be one of those guys, or is he going to be one of those, like I said, top level guys? And I think that the Garden always brings out the best in people. I mean, we remember what it did for Trae Young a couple years ago when they went in New York and actually won that series. And again, I think that could be, like I said, a very interesting series. You talk about a Knicks team who has been beat up. You talk about a Magic team. Like I said, they have the best defense in the league since the All-Star break. They can pretty much guard anything that they want to do. They also have bodies for Jalen Brunson. Like even want to get weird, you can put Jonathan Isaac on him. You can put Suggs on him. You could put Fultz on him. Like you have a lot of bodies that you could put on him. So I think that would be a very interesting first round matchup that I would love to see. Also looking towards the Western Conference, I would love if we get like a Lakers Thunder series, or even if like a Lakers T-Wolves series, but definitely a Lakers Thunder series. I think that if the Lakers have a chance to get past the first round, I think that them playing the Thunder would be the easiest or matchup, or the most ideal matchup for them to get past. And the series that we'll probably end up covering, Clippers Mavericks. Now I know we done got this series a couple times over the past years, and I still would think the Clippers would be able to take this series in probably like 6. But I think that the Kyrie factor is a real one, and something you have to really like look out for. Because I granted, I think they have bodies for Luka. I think that you got Kawhi, you got PG, you got Terrence Mann. You have guys that guard Luka, but Kyrie to me, I think, is the X factor in that whole series. But like I said, if I had to pick, I would still take the Clippers. But also, I just think that's a very annoying first round series for anybody to have. And my last thing I'll say, looking forward in some other rounds, is the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets have legitimate chinks in their armor. I really don't like their bench. I think I was talking about this with the homies the other day. I think that I would argue no player, if Jokic can do what he did last year with this team, I would argue no player has done more with less than Nikola Jokic will have done if he can actually win something with this roster. Because when I look at this roster, granted, shout out Jamal Murray, but people act like Jamal Murray, Kyrie Irving. I like KCP, solid starter. I like Aaron Gordon, solid starter. Michael Porter Jr., if he has to think on the basketball court, you are about to fuck up. He is a guy where he need to catch the ball and shoot it. If he got to use his brain at all, bad. Reggie Jackson is your only other creator really on the team. You got Peyton Watson, you got Christian Braun. Basically saying this roster is not that good. So I think this team has chinks in their armor. And if they could get to a series with the Timberwolves, I would not put my money on Minnesota because I think Minnesota is stupid. But if Minnesota could come out and win that series, it wouldn't shock me, or it wouldn't shock me if somebody else got the Timberwolves. So those are my takes.
I'll say this. I don't there's no series in the East that like intrigues me. But there's a couple in the West that could intrigue me. Like if Minnesota holds on to that number 1 seed, and I got a feeling they probably, I mean, Denver could get both essentially tied right now. Minnesota's number 1 because of percentage points. But a Minnesota first round against the Lakers or the Golden State Warriors, that would intrigue me because then we're going to really see if this young team is ready. As we've been always saying on this show, like, are the Timberwolves and the Thunder actually good teams? This is their time, or this is just a cute story. So it will be kind of a passing of the torch for them to go through the player and the team that has dominated the last decade. The team being the Golden State Warriors and the player being LeBron James, by knocking one of them off. That would be a big chip off their shoulder. As Ant said last night after beating the Lakers, of course, without LeBron playing, that cat is going to be on the way back. But like you just said, Pappy, that's their dumbass team. Like, so you got that. But Clippers Dallas is going to be very, very fun. It looks like that's probably going to be the series. Luka hates them. Like, hates them niggas. The Clippers got a lot of questions to answer. They have not played well this entire second half of this season. I'm expecting for Kawhi to play, and that's why I'm pretty sure they've been resting these last couple games. And then, even though I believe that the Clippers can beat them, you just don't want to face Luka and Kyrie for 7 games. That's just the defensive job you don't want to do for 7 games. But I'm also looking at a potential matchup, OKC versus Phoenix. Kevin Durant returning to OKC. That would be a fun storyline right there for me that I would love to see. I think the West in general is going to be entertaining. I'll say this about Denver. I don't agree with more with less thing. I do think there are chinks in the Denver Nuggets.
Name me a team. Listen, I compare this team to Bron 09 team.
Come on. No, man.
No.
Jamal Murray is better than every nigga on that 09
cap.
team.
That is a cap.
Who
If you look
better on the 09 Cavs better than Jamal Murray?
Williams and Jamal Murray.
No.
No. Compared to the times.
No,
hold on. Yes, Jamal Murray is a better basketball player, but compared to the times, Jamal Murray is about an 8 to 10 guard in the league. Williams was about a 7 to 10 point guard in the league. Who?
7. Month Williams
in
was not
time?
a 7.
He made
in his
it
time.
And that
in his
year
time.
he did
was
make an
all-star.
all-star
7, bro. Oh, yeah, one all-star, bro.
No.
Jamal Murray ain't made none.
Okay, that ain't his
And he's
fault.
not
He's
gonna get
in the
one.
best guard era in the West.
I don't agree with Pavy. While I don't agree with you fully, when you make an all-star team, no matter how you make it, you're top something shooting guard, point guard, or whatever. So just for that year, just for 2009, for the year, technically Pav got a point.
Now, I just want to say this. I'm not one of the people who think that LeBron was playing with trash in 09. I'm not one of them people.
No.
He had a good team. But no, Jamal Murray better than them niggas. Then LeBron would have killed to have KCP on that 09 team.
Yes.
I disagree with that.
If you put Mo Williams in the league right now, he's not even starting. But we are also, like you said, in the best era of probably guards and point guards probably ever been.
That's why he ain't an all-star.
No, I said comparable to his time. You had to judge people about when they played. Comparable to his time. I compared this team to LeBron's 09 team.
I can't roll with that. I can't roll with that. I think this is a good team. They're just showing what a team in the second year does. We talk about them being they basically the number 1 seed. They're basically the number 1 seed right now.
Because Nikola Jokic is incredible.
Yes, but it's not just Jokic. It's not just Jokic is incredible. We were there at Staples Center. There at Staples Center. He had a lazy game and it was 35-17 and like 10.
Whooping ass.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize Jamal Murray was out.
Exactly.
Right. But that's also
the problem. You didn't know he wasn't there.
I didn't realize he was out. They said he was back. They say he was back after like a 7-game absence. I was like, nigga, when? Like what?
I'm not trying to tell you I'm a big Jokic guy. I just don't. The Jamal Murray Month Williams comparison is crazy to me. Like, and even just comparing it for that year, no. Month Williams, no, absolutely not. I'm not right.
It's not crazy, bro. It's not crazy.
I'm interested to see. I want to debate about that later on, man. But we got to move on. Pat, we thank you for joining us per usual. We didn't get to show your artwork, so we're gonna do it now. Here we go. Weekend Association. We got to give it up every episode. Pat will be joining us each and every Monday. Next week we'll be previewing the play-in game. So of course you follow Pavy at Pavy World. Visit pavverbs.com. We got some cool stuff coming for y'all real soon. Stay in tune with that, man. So Pav, we holler at you, bro.
My man.
Shout out Dante in the chat. Shout out Damien. He said Dante really brave wearing that. Well, he's not in Los Angeles because if he was, he would definitely get banged on.
I would definitely. I've learned my lesson. You fooled me once, I can't get fooled again. Like, this is not an LA hat. This is not an LA hat.
All right, Pav. We're gonna bring in the homie as we get ready for another Monday segment that we like to call Respect the Culture with the homie Larry Legend. Lero, man, how you feeling, brother?
There's no such thing as the big three. That's what I feel like. I feel like we might need to just jump straight in this, man.
Talk about it, G.
Let's just get straight into it. If you have been living under a rock these last couple weeks since we have been off the air,
saving my energy for this segment.
Yes, since we've been off the air in these last couple weeks, I've been taking care of some personal stuff, some business stuff. We have not been able to talk about this, but we're gonna recap this and now give the floor to Lero. That Kendrick Lamar had a surprise verse on the Future and Metro Boomin album that came out a couple weeks ago, which I really, really enjoyed. And he took aim at one Canadian rapper and also J.Cole. We're waiting to see. I think we all kind of know Aubrey's not going to respond, but we'll get into that in a minute. J.Cole comes out with a diss this past Thursday called 7 Minute Drill. Very light diss. But that's not the issue. The issue is the apology we heard last night on stage at the Dreamville Fest. I have my thoughts. I know Bang and Dante had their thoughts, but Lero, this is your segment, so we're going to go to you first.
All I can say is what happened to the game I loved? What happened to the game I grew up loving, man? We had 50 Cent. We had Rick Ross. We had Ross beat 50 Cent. We had 50 beat Ja. We had Common versus Cube. We had Common versus Drake. We had Pusha versus Drake. We didn't even ask for Cole versus Kendrick, and we was about to get that, and then the nigga folded. I mean, like a lawn chair. I mean, it's so quick. I don't even think we got the grill going before this man left the barbecue, bro. It was one of the most despicable things I've ever seen in hip-hop history. And now we got guys who are veterans. I seen Sagan, a nigga who snuck and sucker punch Prodigy, saying how he respected J. Cole's decisions. And it wasn't a problem to him. I'm just sitting here like, yo, I never thought J. Cole was on the level of Drake or Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, you and your brother you and Reese have been on that for a while.
Over 10 years. Over 10 years, I've been telling people J. Cole is audio Z-Quill. I remember going to a party once and yarning and turning around, and J. Cole walks in the damn building. I swear on my life.
That was Shrine.
He was, huh? It was at a backyard barbecue party, like on the west side. And
Cole was out west. Okay.
It was like a Fat Tiger event or something.
Oh,
like
okay.
That.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And yeah, he walks in, puts us straight to sleep. I'm like, I gotta go, man. We handed him the blunt. My brother handed him the blunt. He didn't hit the blunt. I was really disgusted, even though, it's not my fault he don't smoke weed. It's just if people don't smoke weed, they don't smoke weed. But J. Cole has always been low level to me as far as on the top tier guys. He's like on the Wale and Big Sean class to me. He's not up there with Kendrick. I think Kendrick is there. I think Drake is there because Drake, doesn't care to be there. And then J. Cole is wherever the hell you want to put the rest of them niggas at. I think Freddie Gibbs is better than J. Cole. I said this and people tried to argue with me. But one thing Freddie Gibbs would have did was rapped and stood by what he said. This nigga folded at his own fucking event.
Yeah.
I had one of his fans hit me on. They said they was there. They said they was sitting in the fan with the group of fans, and they all was so utterly disgusted at the words coming out of this man's mouth. But I told y'all last time, I only trust people as far as their mama is black. And I just mean, how far can I trust you if your mother isn't that black? I'm sorry. My mama would have made me go on the block and get my lick back. J. Cole's mama told him to, hey, sit back, man. Leave that shit alone, brother. That man is a fucking assassin, and you don't want no fucking smoke with him. And that's just all I got to say, man. That's all I got to say. J. Cole is demoted. He is not top 3 at all.
Go ahead, man.
Ah, man. All right. Sermon is tomorrow on some dude.
Okay.
So church is tomorrow. But promo is right now.
Give it to us.
Look, man. In the words of in the phrase, two things could be right at the same time. Yeah, I respect J. Cole for being honest with himself and saying what he said. I respect that. Mm-hmm. With that being said, That was some bullshit. Here's why. All right. And anybody who's listening to this, I need y'all to pay attention to what I'm saying. You can't pull the gun out and then apologize because you did that. All right. We could talk about first person shooter all we want to. J. Cole's been saying, if we want to go back, let's go back to last year. Or we could go back to the year before. If you don't like J. Cole, that's cool. But you can't say that at the very least that according to everybody in the game, he's been heating up for the past 2 years. He's been saying for the past 2 years, he is the best. You can say what you want. I don't care who you are. You can say what you want, but I am the best. He's been saying steppers and shit, throwing small shots since that album came out. Now, was it meant to be disrespectful? No, but it's just what y'all niggas call the sport of rap. He's been saying that he's the best. And when it comes to first person shooter, wow, that big 3 line, all of that stuff, Muhammad Ali, which I'll get to that in a second. He said that, and it was also directed to the other man that was on the same track. So if anything, we thought it was ballsy for him not only to go at everybody, but to do it on the same track. He cannabised the situation. So when you say you the best, you have to prove it in hip hop in one way, shape, or form. Now let's get to the Ali thing. He said, yo, we feeling like the big 3, but right now I'm feeling like Muhammad Ali. Well, let me break this down for the dummies who didn't realize or didn't think about what J. Cole was talking about that. The big 3 at that time is Joe Frazier, it is George Foreman, and it is Muhammad Ali. He said he's Muhammad Ali. Laro, how many times did Muhammad Ali beat George Foreman?
Twice, right?
Once. He beat the shit out of him though. The rope-a-dope. But he beat Joe Frazier twice.
Yeah, he fought Joe.
They
twice.
fought 3 times. He beat Joe Frazier both 2 out of the 3 times. So, ladies and gentlemen, he's basically said, I beat all of these guys. I'm better than all of these guys. That's the big 3 at boxing at the time. So you mean to tell me, and he basically said that those 2 niggas is the Spider-Man meme on the track. So you thought Kendrick Lamar wasn't going to say shit? You thought he wasn't going to say nothing? You should have been prepared. And I'm calling J. Cole's bluff here. If that diss track came out with better reception, that man wouldn't apologize. He would have performed that shit at that goddamn festival. Because that's where his people was at. So he had the home court advantage. That's why, and the post that I posted up on the book, that's why I said, I didn't talk about if I liked the song or not. I said this was J. Cole's weekend. I don't think people understand. This weekend was J. Cole's weekend. So being that it was J. Cole's weekend, he had every opportunity to basically not only throw out that song off the album that he dropped as a surprise, but to go ahead and put the finishing touches on everything at the event where he was the last person that was performing. But he saw social media. He heard Joe Budden. And he said, man, I fucked up. Now it's an apology. And the unintended consequence is I'm telling y'all right now, because there's too many new niggas watching this. This ain't for anybody on this screen right now. This is for the new niggas watching this shit. Telling y'all right now, he's effectively killed the simple beef tracks, the simple diss tracks. Because this nigga has went on and said, oh man, my energy was off. And, I just didn't like how I felt. So I just want to apologize to one of the great. He just effectively took competition away from hip hop when it comes to these new niggas. And for anybody that thinks I'm wrong, we're already complaining about how recipes has been lost when it comes to these new niggas in the first place. So tell me this, y'all. If I'm wrong in saying this, Why are we talking about 3 niggas that's been in the game for damn near 20 years now? And we still talking about them niggas.
Talk about them.
We still talking about them. There's nobody that has, unfortunately, has come up on the level. Fuck Big 3. Let's just say Big 6. Let's just say Big 6 or Super 6. If we want to stay on boxing, let's go Super 6. There's nobody that has peaked on that level. There's no Ant-Man. If J.Cole and Drake and all of these niggas is Bron, Katie, Steph, and whoever else you want to name, who's the Ant-Man? Who's the Wemby?
Shit, who's Giannis?
Who's Giannis? None of them niggas. So I'm telling you, the game, the niggas that's coming up in the game is watching this shit. That's where the competition is supposed to come from. That's where it's supposed to come. And Cole, who famously said that he let Nas down. This is why.
He let him down again.
Twice.
This is why. Because Nas would have did the same thing. Nas and Jay-Z didn't hate each other. That was just pure competition. So now you mean to tell me I can't have no competition to the dude that's next to me? He's effectively ended competition for all of these new niggas that's coming up. They're not going to understand and know why this moment was important for Cole. And I'm going to tell y'all the biggest reason why this shit was so important for Cole. Because we all know on here, 10 years ago, that nigga wasn't in the big 3 of shit. Nope. The big 3 was Drake. The Kanye. Big 3 was Kendrick Lamar. I'm talking about the new niggas. And Big Sean. Or you could put Wale up in that bitch.
When it first started, it was the 3 you just said.
But that was the big 3.
I ain't gonna
Drake.
lie. I'll argue Wiz too.
But
that whole
but you can. That's why I say you can add a couple
blog era.
But you can add a couple of people. But Cole wasn't in that bitch.
No.
And for those who forget, he got dressed up by fucking Diggy by implying that he fucked Vanessa. And then the Versace shirt shit happened. And then all of a sudden, the nigga started growing his hair. And by the time 2014 Forest Hill Drive came out, he had enough hair. And then after that, his shit was nappy and locked the fuck up. And he dropped the album and he started hooping. The Grammy line. And you know what? I'm going to wait for some dude to talk about the Grammy line. Because I'm going to tell y'all why J. Cole is hurt. It's the fucking Grammys.
There's 2 things. One, I know we're gonna get into the bigger 6 things. That's one of Lero's next point. But I want Dante to get your opinion, and I'm gonna go. Go ahead, Dante.
Yeah. No, I'll say this. He Wale'd himself. Like we just talked about how Wale was in that big 3. The one thing that took Wale out of that conversation was Wale. Like him online bitching all the time. It was never the music. Like, even though people said he made rap for women and shit like that, he was still cold enough and respected as a lyricist to where we always talked about Wale in that group. And so for him to do this is extremely disappointing. Like, it's one of those things where I feel like I was just talking to Al Patron about it. Like, the whole rap community is like in shock right now simply because from a competition standpoint, this was the first time we could have potentially got some beef. Well, not even beef, a battle that there was no street ties to it. So nobody was going to die. There wasn't going to be no fights. We had 3 people who are considered great lyricists. They're about to go at it. They're about to compete. And especially with Cole, because to your point, like you said, he's gradually built himself up to be in this conversation. And you can't spend the last 2 years talking tough on records with Lil Yachty, and then you switch the shit up now. Now it's just conscious. And like, no matter how much we respect it, like, you know, if you like we say, all this shit don't matter, take music out of it, you know, respect your growth and all of that. I would have respected just as much as if he said, you know, y'all know it's no real beef. I fuck with Kendrick, and then dropped the song and played the shit. Like, this was his Summer Jam moment. Like, he really could have did some crazy shit for hip hop. And like I said, nobody's dying. Nobody's escalating the situation. It was just going to be a whole bunch of great raps. And I think right now we all feel robbed. That's what it is. We all feel really robbed of an amazing rap experience, because this is what we as old, even though we only 35, I consider us now, we old rap.
We the old heads, bro. We the
old heads now. Yeah. So like everything we've been craving, we not getting, and we thought we had a glimpse of it, and they just snatched it away.
Here's
Josh is right though. Drake definitely believes he's a mob boss, so he gonna try to cut him out. He not finna rap shit. He finna make captions and be in turf.
and mention Baca 100 times. This is my thing on it,
Sexual
bro.
assault boy.
You're right, exactly. I was about to
the
say
sex
that.
offender.
The sex offender. This is my thing on it, dog. This is why I'm so disgusted as a fan of this genre. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, I respect it." I'll be real. I don't respect it. If that's how you, first of all, you're a grown man. If somebody made you get out of your body and do something that you ain't had to, that you didn't feel right and do it, you shouldn't have done it. And if you felt, oh man, I got in my body, you call that man yourself. Man, John, be real. I really wasn't feeling that. You know what I'm saying? That's just not who I am as a person. Y'all got that relationship. We the fans, we don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear you saying these things at your festival. Like you just said, Dante, you could have did some Summer Jam stuff. You could have did what Nas was gonna do on the Power 105 stage, but they stopped it with the hanging like.
But wait a minute, Scott. He didn't have to do that. See, that's the thing. He didn't need anything to defame a character, to hang a nigga in effigy or anything. All he literally had to do was rap.
Stand on your shit.
And stand on it. Like, and we can talk about the diss, whatever. I thought it was like just for the simple fact that number one, that beat sound like some Tetris shit. And number two, your two best lines can't be Hove lines.
Can't be
like
somebody.
We're all students of the game. Like you can one of the homies text me was like, "Oh, your arms are too short to box with God." You know how many times we've heard that line in rap? Like that's nothing new. Like
that's his arms right now.
Yeah, like come on. And then it just even takes to you took people who, whether you don't like Pimp Butterfly, whatever, music is subjective, whatever. But you took the people who took the weekend to slander it. You just killed your own point because you didn't even believe it was mid. Obviously, you didn't even believe it when you said it.
It's not.
He was one of the first rappers to praise it when it came out.
Right?
Yes.
And this is my thing about that. A side thing is anybody who thinks Pimp Butterfly is a Black Power album has never listened to Pimp Butterfly. It's nothing outside of All Right. There's no Black struggle songs on that album, but. As Cole, I'm gonna go even further. This is the softest thing I've seen in the over 50-year history of this genre. I've never seen anything like this. And the fan base, like you can be a fan and don't lie, bro. Like that's something I think we've seen in this stan culture. Y'all know I'm a card carrying Hove venger. Am I gonna deny that Sean Corey Carter cried on the radio after Ether? No, that happened. Am I gonna sit up here and act like that he ain't never made something bad? No, that's Jay-Z versus maybe want to throw up because he's rapped so much better than that. We have to be real about our favorite artists. But now you make Kendrick look like the boogeyman. And this is like by the way, this is the third rapper that's apologized to Kendrick.
Facts.
Like Lupe apologized to Kendrick, J Electronica apologized to Kendrick. Like we all know that Kendrick has blood affiliations.
Big Sean did too.
Big Sean did too. This is not breaking news that Kendrick has blood affiliations, but there's got to be more to this. That does Kendrick send these niggas his disses? Oh, this is what I'm finna drop y'all. But it just makes it worse. And even from a Drake perspective, even if Drake wants to shoot back, which I definitely don't see him doing now, but even if he does want to shoot back, this is why it's so hard to diss Kendrick. What are you gonna say now? Because Cole just said the discography thing. So you can't come up here like, oh, it's boring, nigga. Anyway, playing Pimp Butterfly in the club. We just heard that. So to me, as a sport, it's everybody. Oh, he's 39, he's 38, he got kids. Y'all want to care about beef? Kendrick got like 3 kids. Kendrick like 36.
They're the same niggas. Just one's tall and light skinned, and the other one is short and dark skinned.
I'm not saying we gotta have the Beanie Siegel, Jadakiss type. No, that's not these type of dudes there. I wanted to see sparring. Like Kendrick let off a shot, you love a shot. Now let's go back and forth. That has been killed, and I no longer care about this. Like all y'all said, this I believe is a career blow. Now, am I saying he's not gonna do the numbers he does? I'm not saying that, but nobody's ever gonna take that man seriously again. Especially he better not say anything about being the best of anything. You compare yourself to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali would have never did this. Like Muhammad Ali could get knocked out and be like, "No, I'm still better than
that nigga called Sonny Liston a coon."
Yeah. But
Nigga ain't apologized for shit.
he said, "Come on, Gorilla. This is a
Yeah,
thriller."
Gorilla
Like,
is a
Ali
gorilla.
was talking his shit, bro.
Somebody
Like,
pulled a
what you
gun
do.
out on Ali. Somebody
Yeah.
pulled a gun out on Ali, bro.
And I say this, like, this might be because I'm literally, like I said, I've been stumped all fucking day. This might be the most embarrassing hip hop moment since
ever.
that nigga since that nigga Freeway was in the studio.
Put on
Said,
the
"Put a
beat.
beat on,
Put a
put
beat
a beat
on.
on, put a beat on." He was begging for that beat because he was getting
This
cooked.
makes
This was terrible, bro.
This makes Ja Rule really look like Tupac. And you know what's funny about this? I was in an Uber Saturday night, and my Uber driver, for whatever reason, was playing Hit 'Em Up. And first of all, that was one angry young man.
Yes, it was.
Like, I always look at that, he was wilding, but you know, as being 35, and I'm like, who made this nigga that mad? You hear that? And then you hear J.Cole apologizing. Like, come on, dog. And if you didn't want to respond, don't respond. Like, yes, do I wish Biggie would have responded in like an actual way to Tupac? We all know that he actually did respond on his album. Like, we know, I forgot what song. What was the song where Diddy's talking in the background? Not Long Kiss Goodnight, the other one.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Kiss Your Ass Goodnight. I don't know, whatever.
Yes,
But he responded to him on that. Do I wish he would have came out and said something about Tupac? Yes, but that's not who Big was. You could have did that and got away with it. Don't shoot your shot and then at your event say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then be like, "Hey, can y'all make some noise for Kendrick Lamar?" And everybody in Kendrick's rappers are laughing at this nigga.
They
Like
put LOL.
Punch put LOL, and he said, "No, I respect it." No, nigga. Kendrick is at home laughing, dressed like Queen Latifah on Living Single, bro. He is home
I
laughing.
told you these niggas was soft.
I told you these niggas was soft. And then also Drake is probably got to look at it like, see, that's why I ain't do nothing. Drake will never admit it, but Drake knows.
Drake is using academics to get messages out there, bro.
Yeah.
Like, the game is cooked, my nigga. Like, what are we doing?
Right, the game is cooked. And here's my disappointment. Like, again, that's why I said the battle rap, the sport of rap to me is now done.
Yes.
Because there's no little nigga that's gonna come and be on this. And I had said something a couple of weeks ago where I'm now disappointed in what I said. I said that I truly believe that J.Cole truly is one of two people that really want to prove that he's the best rapper alive. And since I listened to the album from front to back, I was standing on that. I was like, yeah, because Pie, him, Daylight, and Absol, them niggas was barred up. And I was like, see, Cole really wants to be the best rapper alive. Then I got to the last song, and I was like, well, he tried, but it just didn't come off. But then the weekend happened. Sunday happened. Last night happened. Cole don't want to be the best rapper alive. Cole, and here's why mental health matters, y'all. Go ahead and say it. Mental health matters. Mental health matters. I think Cole wants to be the best rapper alive, but I also believe there's caveats to it. He don't want to have to prove it. He feel like he just have to prove it through his own merit. Well, in what we grew up in hip hop, you have to prove that you are the best rapper. And when you get tested, you have to show it. This ain't every beef ain't Big and Pac.
No.
Every beef ain't right. Every beef ain't MC Ren and DJ Quick.
Yeah.
This was a battle just to say, yo, we are the only two, because Drake don't even want to be the best rapper of all time or alive.
No,
The only two dudes that wanted to be the best rappers of alive right now had the chance to prove it. And I truly believe that Cole saw the reception and was like, damn. And he nutted up just like he did when Diggy dressed up his ass about 12 years ago.
Shout out Trey in the chat. I wasn't talking about who shot you. Who shot you is what actually started it. There's a song. I gotta look at the life after that track.
You talking about Long Kiss Goodnight?
Long Kiss Goodnight. Long Kiss Goodnight.
I make your mouthpiece so beast like
Della Reese. Yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
But Lero, next topic just goes to what we were saying about who's the next. So go ahead, bro.
Before we get there, I do want to say this. One thing I would have expected from J. Cole last night would have been to even let Kendrick get on stage and rap that song. That would have been more on than him apologizing. I was just like, okay, you know what? Next subject. Since we here though, we talking beefs. We talking rap. We really talking who the best lyricist. These things is what matter. Y'all grew up. I know, like I say, Bang is our older brother, but we all grew up. Nas, Hove, you know, Eminem, DMX, etc. T.I. when he came out, Kanye when he was dropping, all of that era of people who were trying to prove that they were the best. Do y'all feel like it's anybody these days that want to be the best rapper? I know
thought it
it's
was
a lot
Cole.
of guys.
Not at all.
I do think it's a couple of guys that I would say, like, really, it's not a lot. I think JID is one of them guys who probably want to be the best rapper. Eventually, he's gonna do. He probably do the work that it take. But do y'all see it being, like you said, a 6? Like, we do got our personal favorites. You know, I'm putting Fred over 2 of these niggas in this top 3 thing. It's gonna be Kendrick, Fred. You can name them other niggas if you want. But outside of that, you know, we got a lot of it's a lot of guys who rap. I feel like the only people who really care to be the best are kind of past that in age. Like, it's not a lot of niggas who under 30 who want to be the best rapper.
No, I think I think it's not. I think it's not even just rap. I think just the music industry in general, like the way that music is looked at right now, it's hard for it to be a competitive sport because a lot of these artists gotta be more than artists nowadays just to do anything. So I feel like it's more than just the sport, and especially with rap, everybody. They grew up in a different era. You know what I'm saying? When we grew up in an era where it was competitive, we naming all these battles and stuff like that. Even when we're naming the Coles, the Kendricks, the Freddie Gibbs, they're all in our age bracket. Yeah, they're all in our age bracket. Go ahead, Dante.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it real quick. Luxury rap ruined hip hop.
Ooh.
Like it took us away from the essence. And so now it's just like with basketball. Them niggas back in the day were playing a little bit harder because they didn't have them guaranteed millions. You know, back when niggas was washing their own uniform and shit like that. So back in the day when you actually had to hustle to become a popular rap artist, it was different. Like the hunger was different. Now this shit is really like AAU ball, bro. I can get in my computer and just rock out.
Maybe like 7 years or so ago, me and my brother were having a conversation, maybe even longer, but we had a conversation when Ross came out. Like, when rappers come out rich already, what are you rapping for? And a lot of niggas came in after Ross that was like, yeah, I got the Bentley, I got the crib, the this and then that. It's like, so like when I got to listen to certain rappers, they got to that point after so long. These niggas came in the game with Bentleys and the big chains. Like, nobody rapping because they was off. Like, nobody was struggling before they got here. Why the fuck are you here?
Because you remember.
Like, it was about trying to get to that level, not come in like that. So I'm 100% with you, Tay. 100%.
Hell yeah, G, because you remember, because we all Hov fans. You remember how much of an uproar it was when that nigga switched over to the luxury raps, talking about Basquiat and all that other shit. We like, wait a minute, nigga, where are the crack deals? What's going on?
Let me ask you.
He started off rich rap, and it didn't catch, and people didn't like that, so he went to a hustler side, and then he went back rich rap.
So let me go even further. Because I think Josh said what I was about to say just a little bit. Is it cool to be the best rapper alive right now? See, we're not in an era where that needed to give you validation. See, before the source, it was just word of mouth and battling, just period. Like, a nigga just would show up at the studio and we just go ha who ha and do all that, you know, Curtis Blow, LL Cool J shit and just rap, right? But when the source gave us the 5 mic shit, that's when rap really, to me, truly became a competition. Because now we're judging albums and shit, right? And then when Jay-Z says, who's the best MCs, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas, I think that stamps it. I think that stamps now, because now you get the ultimate Jay-Z Nas argument. And that carries over until we get older. His niggas is still having this argument to this day, and these niggas is 50 plus and living their best life. Nobody wants to be that no more. And there's no validation in being that. Y'all said JID. There's no validation for JID to being the best rapper of all. Because nobody, I mean, nothing against JID. Because I think that nigga's dope.
Mhm.
But in the grand scheme of things, nobody give a fuck about him because he could rap very well. In fact, he gets called a lame for being able to rap very well. And even to go on to Gibbs, the first time I saw Gibbs in person was in DC. When he came out to DC. And the breath control of this nigga
The craziest shit I ever
is
experienced in my
second
life.
to none. And that comes from perfecting your craft.
Mhm.
Like, this nigga did not take a breath,
I've
fam.
seen this nigga doing push-ups, rapping them bars before. Like he's
Right,
trying to
like,
make
it's-
sure he's up to par with
Right. So that's called perfecting your craft. Niggas don't want to do that shit
That's
no
also
more.
caring about your art. Like, and I feel like that's
Kendrick.
a deeper conversation with not just music. And I'm gonna sound like an old head, but with this generation in general. Like, we can look at
everything.
I never understood as I'm going full old head right now. I never understood growing up in the era where you have so much information as a YouTube and having Google and things. We having a smartphone. We all remember a time when there wasn't the internet. I didn't really even get on the internet heavy till I got to college.
Encyclopedia.
And yeah,
That's all we had.
That's all we had. Like, even when we had it at home, we had dial-up. So it'd be one of my parents were using. Even when I could be on the computer, yeah, there was a time limit I could be on there. So like we still went back when I became a hip hop fan. Like Jay-Z, DMX, Eminem, 50. That era is like where I like Biggie and Pac a generation right before me. But I went back and listened to all that stuff. There's kids now, they don't even listen to stuff that came out 10 years ago. There's people who probably only know Drake from If You're Reading This.
They probably listened 3 years ago.
Yeah, they don't even know comeback season Drake. They don't do research. I feel like when it comes to craft, if there's anything, there's people out here who making movies who have never seen Godfather or something like that. Like, they don't do research. I don't think it's cool to care about your craft now. It's just about, I need to get my money, get my money, get my money. Now, is that part of how the country might be shaping things now? Maybe. But I don't feel like there's a competition aspect in just period. If you look at a competition, just look at the way we talk about stuff. And I know we talk about this again, all love and respect to Dawn Staley, but there is only one GOAT. I hate the term GOATs. There's no GOATs. There's one, okay? Like, and that there's a competition thing, okay? And that's where it comes to with all these discussions where we talk about the All-Star game. We were talking about the All-Star game. Why there's no dogs? People used to take it seriously. That's just how it is with this generation.
And yes,
everybody
and Jason, and to answer Jason's question, is there a difference between competition and beef? Yes.
Yeah, you don't gotta hate people.
Yes, you ain't gotta hate a nigga. When you hoop,
right?
That's competition.
He better. He wins.
Like, he better. If you box, if he better, he better. And I think
they hang out when they 50 and all that shit.
Right. And I think part of it, I think also a big part about this is niggas is scared to compete. People use the term compete like it's a bad thing. No, it is not a bad thing. I use competition in a different way in my life. I feel like all of us are in a competition. That don't mean I hate the man. That actually means that iron sharpens iron and steel sharpens steel. Like, when I see other people doing pods and shit, I don't hate the pod and nothing like that. I don't hate them niggas. Like, no, y'all are sharpening my blade. So by me seeing what y'all doing, it's like, oh no, they coming out swinging. I bet. All right, let me go ahead and step my shit up on my shit. People got to stop using competition like it's some bad word, like it's one of the bad words that George Carlin say that you can't say on the air. You can say fuck, shit, ass, pussy, all that shit, and you can say we in a competition. And that doesn't mean I hate you because we in competition with each other. No, there's friendly competitions. And then when it gets past that, it's not competition. It's I want to knock your head off. And guess what? That shit's cool too. Yeah. That shit's cool too, because it is some people that's out here that's podding, and I'm like, man, that's some weak ass shit right there. That don't mean I'm hating. in my opinion, that shit's weak as hell.
That's
When
just
we
as
see
a consumer.
producers on other shows take our shit and because they on terrestrial radio and they doing the shit because that shit's happened to me before, fuck y'all niggas. But it's people that I know that I'm cool with, that I'm close to this day, that did that shit to me when I was doing Windy City Underground. That's still my nigga because at the end of the day, hey man, shit, go ahead and get it how you live. But y'all niggas still ain't better than me and you know it, right? That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Right. It's just when you take it too far and be some dicks, because at the end of the day, that means you was never my nigga in the first place. Yeah. There's competition and there is you was never my nigga in the first place. That's the difference there.
One last thing, and then we'll move on to Lero's last point. I also feel like the social media thing has something to do with it. People don't want to be embarrassed anymore because they know the social media reaction. We know that people are going to take it and talk about it all day. We know that what it comes from. So a lot of these, like the dunk contest, people don't want to be in a dunk contest. They don't want to be clowned by getting in a dunk contest. People are scared of competition because they might lose. I'm going to go, this is kind of like we used to fight back in the day. Niggas shoot because they're scared to get beat up. Yeah. That's just pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah, we in the Floyd Mayweather era of rap right now. Like, it's all about putting that picture perfect resume together and saying, hey, I never took an L just to stay on our boxing shit. Because like we said, one thing about the greats back in the day, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, the motherfucking Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, they fought each other. Mm-hmm. And that was the goal. I'm going to come up here to show you, I'm going to whoop your ass because I'm the best. Mm-hmm. We're not in that no more. It's about, I'm going to make these numbers look good. I got 6 billion streams. I know you say you the best, but fuck you. I got 12 number 1 albums. You got 11. I got to be the best. I got one more than you. Not saying that, we never actually competed for the shit.
So but Tay, the messed up thing, when we say it's the Floyd Mayweather era, they still don't remember that Floyd Mayweather beat the shit out of Diego Corrales when Diego Corrales was the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world.
They don't remember Pretty Boy.
Go to you. I want everybody, when we say this is the Floyd Mayweather era, you got to understand that Floyd earned that shit. Yep. Y'all trying to do it and y'all ain't earned shit. And for those who might not understand what I'm talking about because it's on YouTube, go to YouTube and type in Diego Corrales versus Floyd Mayweather. Watch how HBO was playing Floyd Mayweather during the beginning of that fight and how they was hyping up Diego Corrales. They was basically saying that Floyd Mayweather lose this fight, we probably won't even hear about this nigga no more. And Floyd Mayweather knocked down this nigga 6 times in that damn fight. And then I want y'all to go and watch the fight between him and what's my man name? Arturo Gatti. Because I won hella money off of that. Because everybody, white men and black men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, all them niggas was like, yo, Arturo Gatti about to give it to Floyd Mayweather ass. Nope. I was like, yo, who want to bet, fam? Go ahead and pass me that bread. Floyd Mayweather made that nigga quit. This was before he was money. It was Pretty Boy. Pretty Boy had to go through all of the shit so money can make his money. So when y'all say that shit, y'all better go pay attention. Floyd earned that moniker. He earned it. And once he beat Oscar's ass, which means he beat the top nigga, or at least the top name nigga, yeah, I could do what I want. Y'all niggas ain't on Floyd level because y'all ain't even trying to do what Floyd had to do to get to the point that he was at.
Yeah. Apostle, you preaching. You preaching right now.
Like I said, tomorrow we go, some dude, we going to church, my nigga.
We also gonna talk about this on summer sessions tomorrow. I definitely looking forward to that. Lara, let's get to your last point, man, and we get you out of here.
We gonna get out of this hip hop beef stuff. We gonna talk about beef on the grill. No Diddy. What we're talking about is, so I've been seeing this conversation going on a lot this last 2 weeks about people weren't letting kids eat ribs when they went to barbecues. Nigga, like, what the fuck is going on in America, man? What's going on with y'all people, man? Y'all, I know when it came to like certain kids would waste food, but parents and people who were around them parents understood which kids would waste that food. Everybody gets a rib at the barbecue.
At least one rib.
One. If you a real rib eater and they know you clean that bone, you might get a rack, half a slab. But I'm saying, and I don't eat swine. I haven't had swine since 2004. That was the last time I ate pork. And I promise you, ribs is a delicacy. And you only get the best ribs at barbecues. You don't get them at fucking what was the restaurant? Chili's. You don't get them at Chili's. You get them at the barbecue. It's an old nigga with some sandals on and some GP-ass jean shorts and a wife beater and a Corona or a Miller Dream Draft. It's been a slap. I'm talking about lather that shit. He might even do that. You take this right here. You don't need no sauce, boy. Take that right there. Happy. I didn't grow up in the era where kids didn't get it. Ribs, my nigga. I don't know what's going on in America. I want y'all opinion on this because what the fuck are we doing?
I feel like as we see on the internet and more we learn about people growing up is everybody didn't grow up like us, which is like there's certain stuff that I thought was regular until regular black people stuff like that I didn't know. Like I saw somebody on Twitter the other day. Somebody had like it was like a couple black movies. And it was like, which one do you prefer? Which one gotta go? And somebody's like, I've never seen 5 Heartbeats. Like, I've never met a nigga who ain't never seen, 5 Heartbeats. Like, whether you like it or not is a different conversation. But you got that, people. And by the way, I think 5 Heartbeats is an amazing movie. I saw it again a couple weeks ago on HBO Max. But it's
the number one music black movie of all. I think people who be saying the Temptations is the number one is a fucking lie. You only have BET.
I love the Temptations. I think
I love it too, but it ain't.
I think it's not better than 5 Heartbeats. I think it's probably the best biopic. I think Temptations, but
yeah,
but
Leon carried that motherfucker. But yeah, it's up
better
there.
than Ray.
Okay, you got me. You got me on Ray. You got me.
I'm with you though on the group though.
Yeah, on a group.
And you got the Temptation was a fucking 2-day spectacle, my nigga. Like we was at the crib locked in.
Wait. Temptations over American Dream.
I like Temptations over American Dream. And American Dream.
I'm gonna say Temptations. I'm gonna say Temptations.
Like American Dream is wrong, nigga. Like American Dream, come back.
American Dream longer than Roots. Like, but I still both are classic. I prefer Temptation just because Leon's performance was so great. But if you got 5 Heartbeats took all the great things from the actual real biopics and made it so well. There's a lot of people out there who think that was a real R&B group. But you add that with the with the ribs thing. I didn't know that was a thing. I also didn't know that people hoarded things that they couldn't eat at their house. Like, oh, you can't eat this. Like, was there like stuff that I couldn't eat all of it? Obviously not. Yeah. Like, you're not gonna eat the entire box of cereal. But like,
I saw Harry Lennox Jr. come into my job, and that nigga asked for my boss. I said, "Yo, dresser up in here," and yelled to my boss down the hall. I said, "Yo, Bill, a dresser from 5 Heartbeats up in here," and he was like, "Who, Harry?" I said, "Oh yeah, tell him to come to the back." Harry Lennox was looking at me like,
"Hey, when you said that shit to Leon, bro, top 5 greatest things ever, dog." When he was like, "Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis." That
nigga was like,
"Hey, best part, he freestyled that."
Yep,
like that wasn't the line. He freestyled that. Shout out to Leon, bro.
Shout out to Leon, classic black actor. Him and Lorenz Tate held black people down for so long. They deserve lifetime achievement awards from BET, and they do that shit.
And Harry Lennox Dresser is one of the OG light skinned niggas. Like he when light skinned niggas still had respect. Like when him and Harry Belafonte, nigga. But like also give love to Chicago King Robert Townsend, bro. Like if there's anybody who I want to interview Robert.
Did you
Townsend.
listen to the Questlove podcast?
No. I did not.
Oh, you gotta listen to the Questlove podcast with Robert Townsend. Man. Like I didn't know Robert Townsend. I didn't know Robert Townsend went to Weber and Prosser before he went to Austin. He went to Austin and graduated before my mom got there. Like he went to Austin, but he went to one of the high schools that I went to and shit. But you gotta listen to that Questlove episode with Robert Townsend. It's 2 parts.
I'm comedy king. I mean, I try my best to be the comedy king. Robert Townsend is somebody who I would love to be like executive producer of whatever the fuck I'm
man.
He's one of them. Got him, the Wayans, like really Keenan, Damon as well. But yeah, bro, I'm big on my black kings, man.
Yeah, we got it. I look one of my favorite pictures is like Robert Townsand, Paul Mooney, Eddie Murphy, but they chilling. Yeah, top 5. Paul Mooney is my second favorite comedian after Dave Chappelle. But we could be here all day. I know Courtney's in the green room waiting for us to bring in. But Lero, man, definitely another great episode having you on, man. Let them know they can get in tune with you.
Get in tune with me, Larry is Legend on Twitter, Larry is Legend 1 on Instagram, Larry Legend on Facebook. I'm on there too. I've just been trying to capture all of the little worlds and things. But yeah, rock with your boy. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. And J.Cole is not top 3. He is not like that. That's all I got to say. He's not like that.
Definitely, bro. We gonna holler at you next week.
My brothers, appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. We are now. We want, even before we go to the hot corner, because we actually want to talk to Courtney about some football stuff too. We like I said, this is one of this. Yeah. Look at Courtney face. Yeah, you got to do work today. We back. It's been 2 weeks.
I just got here. We running late. You telling me to look at the rundown? I look at the rundown.
Man.
I saw Courtney's face when you said that.
Our people will never be free.
I saw Courtney's face before you brought her up when you said football. She was like,
"Hey." I'm like, please just don't say their names. Just don't tell me. I don't even want to hear the name Caleb Williams today.
Oh, we're not gonna do that today. I mean, honestly, there's really nothing else to say about Caleb right now. Like, yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna be our quarterback. Like, there's nothing else to say.
What's up? What's going on, guys? How we doing, everybody?
How are you feeling, Courtney? It's been a while since we've been doing the show. Period.
Well, professionally, as we all know, we're doing great over here. That's all going real well. Trying to be cryptic, but it's all going real well.
Okay.
The sports are sporting.
Sports are sporting.
Thank you, Orlando. You know what? I missed all of you guys. Thank you. I appreciate the consistency.
Let's talk Cubs. We will be talking Cubs in the local hour, and Courtney's going to join us in the local hour.
Cubs and Sox in the local hour. I got you.
Yeah, y'all can have all that
shit. All the smoke. I don't really got too much smoke for the Cubs, but the White Sox are going to get the full clip.
Yeah, Bang is going to take his little break when we take talk baseball. He'll join us for when we do talk Caleb Williams and the Bears and then the local hour. But before we get into the baseball, let's get into a couple of football topics. Well, just one topic before we get to. I don't really have much to say about this, but John Calipari is going to be leaving Kentucky. He'll be heading to Arizona to the new head coach over there. I just want to say this as a guy.
Arkansas, not Arizona.
It's Arkansas. My fault. Thank you for the correction, producer. Arkansas. I just have a question. I know they had a debate about this on Boogie Cousins' podcast, where Boogie was talking about, you got to respect Calipari and Rondo. Like, what has that nigga done outside of one ring? Is he the Italian Doc Rivers? Because that's kind of what I think to John Calipari. He's the Italian Doc Rivers. What does he do? Like, he always gets into different situations. Like, well, what has he done to even get this deal when we know they're probably going to get rid of him anyway?
See, that's crazy. And that's how I know that, like, listen, I used to live in Memphis. For the record, fuck Coach Cal, okay? Because I lived in Memphis when they had the fucking news outside his gate. It was a big story in Houston with the whole not in Houston, in Memphis with the Derrick Rose SAT cheating scandal. I remember very distinctly the news was posted outside of his house and they had the people with the cameras. It was all real fucking dramatic. And then they didn't even see the guy leave his house. And then I want to say maybe less than 24 hours later, he got the job in Kentucky. And the next time that like the Memphis media like saw him was in fucking Kentucky. Like, what a fucking slime ball. Nobody is shocked by any of this. Not me, at least.
Coach Cal, my guy. And I'm gonna tell you what. Coach Cal gets niggas paid.
Okay.
Like, he gets niggas paid. And one conversation, Derrick Rose did the interview recently.
After NIL.
That's my next point. But Derrick Rose said he wanted to come back to Memphis for a sophomore year. And Coach Cal said, I will not let you step foot on this campus.
Marcus Camby said your family.
Exactly. And so the reason I'm okay with this move, and I think it's going to be a good move, because one thing Coach Cal has been able to do is, whether you like it or not, he knows how to pivot with the times. He was able to pivot to the one and dones, where granted, yes, he won one national championship, but look at how many people he put in the NBA. Look how many number one picks he had. He not mastermind, but he was one of the best at getting one and dones, because a lot of people don't realize a lot of those recruits that went to Kentucky, They weren't going anywhere else. I don't give a fuck about Coach K, none of that. They wanted to play for Calipari. And now going to Arkansas, he has a NIL collective behind him that's like got Walmart and some other shit in it. So he's about to continue to get people paid. So don't be surprised if he goes down into Arkansas and they make the tournament. He may not win a national championship. I'm not quoting him on that, but he will make that a household name. Like, I guarantee it. Like, that's one thing he's good at.
Bang, what you think about?
Man, I see.
Is he the Italian Doc Rivers?
See, in college basketball, I don't think that matters because I think in Coach Cal's case, it's about getting niggas paid. Like I think you can. I don't think Coach Cal was in this at a certain point for people to say that he won multiple championships and like the greatest coach of all time. Like he's not trying to be Coach K. And yeah, it's Tyson chicken. You know what I'm saying? It's the chicken that's been in our freezer for all of our lives. Is go about to get this man his money. But nah, I don't think he came into that. He wasn't trying to be Bobby Knight. He wasn't trying to be Coach K. He wasn't trying to be Big John or all of those folks. Like if the title came with it, yeah. And once you get to a certain point, like, yo, yeah, you want to get it. But he's not one of those people. I don't think he's one of those people that's going to be at the crib like killing himself because he did not win the title. He's gonna look at his players and say, like, yo, did I put them cats in the best position in order for them to get their bread? If I got that, that's cool with me. If I get a title with that, then that's even cooler. Like Doc Rivers out here just pissing the bed. Like he just like simply pissing the bed. I also think that it kind of ran its course in Kentucky. You know, it was something that Gino Auriemma, however you pronounce dude last name, the other Italian dude. He had said something that Mike Greenberg had played on Get Up the other day. And he said about how basically, you know, about the women's game and how people catching up to them. You don't want to fall off. You want people to catch up to you. So I think right now, because of NIL and all of those things, that people are catching up to these blue blood programs. So when you look at the Dukes, when you look at the Kentuckys, and when you look at North Carolina and all of those, people are starting to catch up to the blue blood programs. That's why South Carolina and women's can now be considered a blue blood program. We was never talking about South Carolina and the women's game and all that shit. But now they became that with Don Staley. So now you could go to an Arkansas. You can, matter of fact, fuck it. You could do like we gonna all do when NCAA 225 come out. We could go to that smaller program, that lesser known program, and go and make that program a contender. And probably get way more money than I would at a blue blood because the blue blood expects you to do this and we're gonna pay you like that. No, I'm gonna go to Arkansas. These boosters gonna go ahead and give me my $15-20 million a year. Now I got the NIL backing, so now I could get even better players. Oh, fam, I'm straight. Don't even worry about it. Some of those blue blood programs don't feel like they need to do that. So that's why I think it's more of an indictment on those type of programs than it is on some of these other ones who now see the light, and with NIL, it can make them a bigger player.
You bring up some solid points, man. I can't argue none of those. I feel like I respect what he's done, getting players paid, but I think we got to stop looking at him as one of the top coaches in the game.
I don't. I don't.
Yeah, okay.
No,
all right.
I like I'm with Bang. I'm strictly off the fact that he gets guys in and he gets them to the league. I don't think he actually gives a fuck about winning national championships. Like Kentucky did, because that's just the culture at Kentucky.
Yeah, why would you care about winning if you can still get your bread, still remain relevant? Your brand is relevant. The guys are getting paid. Everybody in this situation is winning. I mean, obviously not Kentucky, but like, they're still one of the blue bloods. They're still winning as well. It's like the Yankees. They're winning when they're not even winning, just off brand recognition.
I do think it's gonna be interesting to see where Kentucky goes. Like, I wonder. I don't know if it's not rumor and then, but I wonder if they would consider Dawn Staley. We hear about Billy Donovan, his interest. We'll talk about that in a little while. But let's go to. Nigga. Yeah, let's go to our next topic before we actually get into the baseball and then bang go on this halftime. We're gonna talk about a big move that happened during our hiatus, and that was Mr. Stefan Diggs leaving the Buffalo Bills and heading to the Houston Texans. Man, the actual trade is Houston sent a 2025 second round pick via the Minnesota Vikings, a 2024 sixth round pick, and a 2025 fifth round pick, and also they'll be voiding the last couple years of Stefan Diggs' contract so he can hit free agency early. I look at it like this. I think it's a good move for Houston. I do think it's a good move for Houston. Houston is doing what you're supposed to do when you have a quarterback who had a good rookie season like CJ Stroud on that rookie deal. They're building up the team, the defense. They spend a lot of money on Daniil Hunter. Got Joe Mixon. You already have good wide receivers and Tank Dell. They got a good tight end. And you bringing in Stefan Diggs into that. I was surprised that they got a second rounder, that they gave a second round, even though it isn't this year, with his age and things like that. But I think it's a good move. But my concern isn't Stefan Diggs' talent. My concern is when Stefan Diggs gets the football, because as we've seen from that situation, the problem wasn't Josh Allen. I know that Courtney would disagree with me, but the problem wasn't Josh Allen. It's the fact that he wasn't getting the football as much as he possibly wanted to get the football. So as long as he stays in line, and I do believe he will stay in line because they're avoiding the last couple of years of his contract, he'll be able to hit free agency and get another bag, whether it be from Houston or from another team. But I think this is something. I don't know if it's a what's the word, like a conference changing thing, because this is still Patrick Mahomes' press conference. Conference. I don't really think what anybody does matters as long as he is still playing. And I do think, like you said, Trey in the chat says, I think it's a great move for both. I would say it's a great move for the Bills, because I don't know who Josh Allen throwing to us. And to the point where I feel like they just had to get him off the roster, And in fact that their general manager didn't even speak to Josh Allen. We're going to really see what Josh Allen is made of this year. When there was that video circulating of Tom Brady golfing with all these quarterbacks, and he told, you talking about it was a good move for Stefan Diggs in the text. You're right about that. But it was video of Tom Brady. He was golfing with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Aaron Rodgers. He said, Aaron, Devontae left you. Tyreek left you, Patrick. He's like, Randy left me. He was like, hey, somebody's going to leave you, Josh. And here we are right now. We're seeing that. So that was an interesting move to me. But I do like what Houston's doing. Now, do we know if CJ Stroud's going to be the same? We don't know. You don't really know what quarterback you've got to year 3 or year 4. There's going to be a tons of film on them, but they're doing what you got to do when you have a quarterback of that caliber. Courtney, what do you think about this move for Stefan Diggs and really for all parties involved?
I think I don't think about the Buffalo Bills, so good luck to them. But I do. Good luck to Stefan Diggs. He's got, a lot of people have said that he's washed. He ain't got it no more. So now is a good time with CJ Stroud and with the team that he has around him to kind of prove himself. So I hope he does. And I hope the Texans clean up this year. I really do, especially since they sacrificed their baseball team so that the Texans could succeed.
Go ahead, Bay. What you think about this move?
Man, I love it for the Houston Texans. You upgrade that wide receiver room. I think that Stefan Diggs being a free agent after this year motivates him. He got a stigma on him, so now this motivates him. So I think this is a great thing for him. As far as the Buffalo Bills, it's never a good thing when you're giving up talent and not getting in return. It's never good. Also, even though this is a deep wide receiver room, you got to hope somebody drops or trade up. So, what you going to say? Yo, we're about to replace him with Xavier Legette. Not saying that that's a bad prospect. What I'm saying is that you're going to replace Stefan Diggs and his experience with a rookie or two. Like, you didn't even go out and address it in free agency. That's my concern. My concern is that you're treating, well, matter of fact, Courtney, I think, is probably going to be able to talk her shit all year, because she already has had questions and stated it here, questions about Joshua. So now we get to see what he is made of, because look, Patrick Mahomes, they lose their best wide receiver. He kept it trucking. right? You know, let's look at CJ Stroud. He came up here with lesser known wide receivers, and he made that shit work. If Josh is who Josh say he is, your tight end ain't gonna be your number one wide receiver option. No, it's not gonna be Dalton Schultz and the other dude. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be you're gonna make one of these or two of these wide receivers good. And he ain't got Gabe Davis and he ain't got Stefan Diggs. So I don't know.
Go ahead, Dante.
I think it's a great move for both sides in terms of the Texans and Diggs. And Bears fans, unfortunately, this is why we're drafting a quarterback, because you can make splashy moves like this whenever you want to when you got a quarterback on a cheap deal. So it's a great move for the Texans. I like it a lot. And then you, like you said, you force Diggs' hand to where, hey, bro, you got to prove it. You know, people have been talking about you being, you know, the old school diva type of wide receiver. And like I've been telling y'all, the shit is coming, bro. They're about to start treating wide receivers like running backs.
Yep.
I'm not going to pay your ass. I can just draft another one, especially because, again, if nobody wants to play running back, where are all these highly skilled players going? To other skill positions. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time before that overflow begins. And we're starting to see it now with the type of receivers that come out every year. So I think it's good for both sides. If I'm Josh Allen, I'm worried. Because, I mean, his career turned around not only with Dabo, but when they got Stefan Diggs. And so to take away Diggs, take away Gabe Davis, and now you've wiped your wide receiver room with all the talent that was there. And now you got to start over and build it up again. I don't know about that. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go. But it's in terms of the Texans and Diggs, I love it because, you know, the last thing you want is for CJ to have a sophomore slump or he drops off to a point where people are now asking questions and there's uncertainty in the air. Like we've seen, it's all about, you know, the energy around your team and everything you're building. And with the Texans, they have a great energy around that team and it seems like everybody's bought in and this is just going to add to that. So I think this was a great move for them.
Yeah, man. I agree with everything with what you guys are saying. Let's move on, man. We're gonna talk some baseball in the hot corner. We can actually throw that graphic on there. My fault, Dante Wood. I don't be communicating. I need to be better producer communicator. This is not Dante's fault. When you see
we need a fifth side chat just for this show. So we
do. It is not Dante's fault. Blame me, Scott Lewis. This is my fault when transitions fail. But anyway, we are here for another edition of the Hot Corner. And actually, we can just announce it right now. Even though Mikey's not here, Mikey's not going to be here for the next couple weeks because, you know, he's doing some stuff he got to do. But the Hot Corner will be a podcast / video on the Barber's Chair Network. It won't be on HB Media, but it will be on the Barber's Chair Network, YouTube, and of course all of our video, all of our podcast feeds. It will be hosted by Courtney, by Dante, and by Mikey. They will be doing this. We're gonna try to do it once a week. We're not gonna have a set day because of schedules, but you guys will be getting this hopefully within the next couple weeks. Got the logo. Logo looks clean. Working on some stuff for y'all. Real baseball content. Between these three, I'll pop up every now and then to give my 2 cents, but it'll mainly be those three. Courtney, what do you feel about this? And then we'll go to Dante about, you know, about you guys' podcast. What can they expect from the Hot Corner Pod, Courtney?
Yeah, I'm just mostly excited about the opportunity to just like completely geek out. Me and Dante and Mikey. Once we get hooping, we're up there. I'm excited. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate you borrowing that Chicago term because we do be hooping when we get to going.
Yeah,
so,
you guys have been over the past.
This is gonna be a very good show.
We have I've really taken on a lot of traits. They're not all good, but
definitely. I just know as you guys, I know stuff about baseball, but y'all know baseball, and I feel like it's always good to have that you know, type of knowledge that you guys have, and to give it to, you know, our people who like listen to the show. So definitely excited to hear that. Dante, what do you think people should get from the show?
More than anything, like I said, my whole thing is I want to teach people about baseball. So yeah, we're gonna throw around a lot of terms, but we're gonna let you know what we're talking about. And we're gonna do it in a language that you can understand. Because I mean, obviously, you know how our show is. We do this for the minorities, and baseball
Exactly.
is one sport that, despite what you see, they are not very welcoming a lot of times. So we're gonna bring everybody in. I know a lot of us played it growing up. We still love the game, and so that's my thing. More than anything, we're gonna teach you about baseball. You can know absolutely nothing about baseball. If you tune into our show, I guarantee you're gonna leave with something that you could build on and keep going from there.
That's all I ever really wanted, was to just make baseball. Because my thing is, I love baseball. You know, that's my passion. I've always just wanted it to be more accessible and approachable to as many people as possible. And then now, you know, with modern baseball being as statistical and analytically focused, it's become kind of hard to, like, you know, you watch a game on Apple TV on a Friday night, and you got run base probability, and, like, you know, it's just really hard for new fans who don't know the finer nuances of those stats to just go into something with no knowledge. So yeah, that's a real big thing for us, is just trying to make it as approachable to as many people as possible.
Definitely. So let's get into today's edition. Courtney, the floor is yours.
All right. I just wanted to talk about a couple of things. You know, I know the sample size is small in terms of games that have been played. I think we're only about 10 or 11 games played for most teams at this point. But that being said, the pitcher injuries are absolutely stacking up. Just on Saturday, we had 3 major announcements, probably one bigger than others. And Dante can definitely chime in on this one a lot more, being that he is in Atlanta. Spencer Strider has some UCL damage to his arm, and it's looking like it's very likely that he might have to undergo a second Tommy John surgery. For those who don't know, he did have Tommy John back in, I think it was like 2019, I want to say, when he was a sophomore at Clemson. So this is not his first time having Tommy John surgery. But the only, I guess, positive that I can personally take away from this, with him, in reference to him in particular, is that he did sign that extension in confirm me and check me if I'm wrong, Dante. Was that October 2022? That's 6 years, 75 mil. So, like, he's unlike a lot of guys, you know, who don't always have that nice cushion. You don't know if you're actually going to come back and be able to perform well enough to get paid after Tommy John, that he will be able to come back, and at least he's got some money. Right. But we also just found out about Shane Bieber, Jonathan Loizaga, you know, and that's after the news about Uri Perez with the Marlins as well. Trevor Gott for the A's. I know that's not particularly sexy right now. We'll deliver the smoke to the Oakland A's here in a few minutes, but no, the pitcher injuries are stacking up, and I just want to add it, just because those injuries didn't just happen. The MLB Players Association and MLB kind of traded jabs back and forth, because Tony Clark and the Players Association released a statement that says, and I quote, "Despite unanimous player opposition and significant concerns regarding health and safety, the commissioner's office reduced the length of the pitch clock last December, just one season removed from imposing the most significant rule change in decades. Since then, our concerns about health impacts of reduced recovery time have only intensified. The league's unwillingness thus far to acknowledge or study the effects of these profound changes is an unprecedented threat to our game and its most valuable asset, the players." So, like, that was just Tony Clark just did not hold back, and did blame the imposing of the new rules, including the pitch clock, as the reason why these guys are seeing injuries more and more, and why pitcher injuries are continuing to skyrocket. Of course, the league countered, and they have a whole spiel about how they have a study in a group that's trying to look at these injuries. And again, I am not saying that Tony Clark's statement was like fact-based as much as it was political. The man kind of is fighting for his life right now. He almost had a near mutiny about 2 weeks ago in the Players Association. Man's almost lost his job. So, he's clearly fighting for his life. And keep in mind that like half of the players that were on that board, the joint committee, the joint competition committee that did agree to those rule changes, were pitchers. So when he says unanimous, I would definitely take that with a grain of salt in regards to, all the players that I doubt 6,000 players said, "Oh, we hate these rule changes." So.
No, facts. And I'm about to say two things that you're probably gonna like. The first one, although we don't root for injuries, before we started the show, Framber Valdez, he was scratched from his start with elbow
No,
discomfort.
listen, I don't fuck with the Astros, but I definitely don't root for injuries.
Right, but that's another one. And also, fuck Trevor Bauer, because this is his fault. Tyler Glass, now he made a great point about this, where he was like, spider tack and sticky stuff and whatever substances pitchers used to use, it was a well-kept secret. Like, it was cool, like it was okay, it wasn't a problem. But once he blew the whistle and said, oh yeah, we use this, everybody's using it, and that's how everybody started to label it as cheating. Because if you go over to the KBO and other leagues, their ball is different, so it's easier to grip.
That's why we saw those dudes when they were playing that exhibition game. I forgot who was that. Was that the Padres that played that exhibition game?
Yeah.
They had the players that against the KBO team. They had them like touching the baseballs, and they were all so just confounded by the shape and like the seams and everything. It's completely different. And I think they explained the difference between the two and how they sewed the baseball up and how it's basically reverse, whereas ours are like inverted. And there's a whole fucking
and
thing,
that,
not a picture.
Yeah,
so,
and that was one of the best videos I've seen, with a pitcher breaking this down, was Tyler Glass now. And he says, when you take away the sticky stuff, and if you've ever felt a leather baseball before, you know how they feel. They're extremely slippery. You got to really go out there, put dirt on it, rub on it, all of that. But he said now you're pushing the ball further into your grip. And so now you're holding it even tighter, and it's causing all these muscles to compress. That's why when you see so many guys with their UCL, with forearm injuries, Dr. James Andrews, he came out a few days ago and said that ligament in your elbow isn't fully developed until 25. Yet we have 16-year-old high school kids
throwing
velocity training, like
95 miles an hour by the time that they're 14. Like, what do you expect? Like, yes, it is an incredible feat of human, I guess, development that these guys are able to throw that hard and that fast. But like, keep in mind, we humans don't evolve that fast. That's not a thing yet. Let's circle back in 10,000 years, and the elbow might be, equipped to withstand those types of injuries. But that's not normal to throw that hard, that fast, that often.
Exactly. And it's a reason, like, you ever notice, I played, so we know, but like softball players, there's a reason they pitch underhand and they can keep going, whereas this is the most unnatural motion.
Correct.
In sports. This is the most unnatural motion for your body to do. And these guys are doing it 80, 90 pitches a game at high velocities, extreme 100%. Velocities. So it's a recipe for disaster. And with the emphasis on velocity and spin rate, which, don't get me wrong, it's cool. All these stats and things that we watch are cool to look at. But at the end of the day, it's causing more injuries. And to me, as I've seen more pitchers say that, I think that's the cause of it more than the pitch clock. Like, Tony Clark is he was kind of grasping at straws.
Oh, 100%. Well, we don't have enough information yet to say that this rule that's been instituted is because of this rule change. There's not enough information yet that's available to us. Major League Baseball has said as much as well. They're like, ever since we instituted the rule, we've been making sure that we're keeping like a watch on injuries, so we can, when we are able to finally formulate a cause and effect, we can institute ideas to help relieve the injuries, as opposed to continue to watch them skyrocket. But moving on to another dumpster fire, the not Oakland A's, agreeing to play in Sacramento for the next 2 seasons with the option for a third. So for those who don't know at home, the Oakland Athletics will be playing in the AAA Sacramento Rivercats ballpark, Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. It does seat 10,000 with the possible addition of 4,000 in the lawn. No, there is no outfield seating. So, like, can you just imagine Zach Hampel like absolutely wreaking havoc on small children hanging out in the grass? That's my first thought. Is this guy just absolutely out here just demolishing children for baseballs? But yeah, so that's going to be from 2025, 2026, and 2027 seasons with the possibility of 2028. I just don't. For me, I hear that, and I feel, first off, I feel terrible for the fans, right? Like, to watch especially when you know that like there was the possibility to stay in Oakland. Obviously, and I'm not talking about just Howard Terminal. Like they could have stayed at the Coliseum for the next few years until it was over. I think the difference in like what the officials were saying was only a couple $1 million. Keep in mind they're making hand over fist in TV revenue sharing, so like it's not like he's losing out on any money. A's are only averaging like $6,500, or 6,500 people, I should say, per game so far this season, which is and
that's just tickets. That's not who's showing up.
Yeah, I can't even like wrap my mind around that. That's insane. 6,500 people, especially in the Coliseum, which is such a large ballpark. And I feel really, really bad for the fans in Oakland, but I really feel for the players that get drafted into that system and are in that system currently, who have to live with that dysfunction. You work your entire life to reach the pinnacle of the show, right? And then really we got to play in a triple-A ballpark? That's insane.
Yeah, no, it's a joke. And I'm gonna say this. I'm trying to find this guy's name to get it real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is how backdoor deals happen. The mayor of Sacramento is setting up for one or two things to happen. Either the Vegas deal falls through and he can snatch the A's, or the Vegas deal is successful and they're still going to expand, and they want that expansion team to be on the West Coast, preferably in California.
Correct.
So Sacramento is trying to show them that they can be a viable MLB city.
Yep. And you know what I think? First off, I truly, in my heart of hearts, because first off, I used to live in Las Vegas, so I'm still I always was very interested in Nevada politics. That was what I went to school for, was political science. Super interested in the ongoings of Nevada politics still, even after I left. The journalism that has been, like local journalism, has been so good about keeping John Fisher and the A's honest about their intentions. We are in almost mid 2024. We still don't have legit renderings of the ballpark. There have been no construction companies hired. There has been nothing else done besides, obviously they're working on getting not Bally's, but the Tropicana down.
Yeah, they just closed it, but that's
and
it.
You're saying that you're trying to play in Las Vegas in a brand new construction by 2028, maybe. Oh, if we need to extend for 2028. You know what? I don't think the Oakland A's and John Fisher have any intentions of moving to Las Vegas. I don't think the A's want them there. First off, if John Fisher wanted to even possibly try to get some good faith with people in Las Vegas, if playing in a AAA ballpark is no big deal, then move to Summerlin, where your AAA affiliate, the Las Vegas Aviators, literally play, where you literally built a whole new stadium. It's a gorgeous ballpark, by the way. Gorgeous ballpark. Why don't you play there? Oh, God, can't forget the $67 million a year that you make from NBC California, right? NBC Sports California. No, God forbid the billionaire is not going to forego that money. Understood, okay? I get it. I'm telling you, he has no intentions of playing in Las Vegas. This is absolutely setting up for John Fisher getting out of the A's and selling and setting up a fucking bidding war for Sacramento, Salt Lake City, Nashville. I think is going to get their own expansion.
And Portland too.
It's absolutely it's 1,000% setting up for. I don't think they're gonna. Why would the after the success of the Aces, after the success of the Golden Knights, why would you want to bring a cancer like the Oakland Athletics with their current leadership? Why would you want to bring that into your city that you have a proven track record? We are a viable sports city. They suck. With respect, who the fuck is going to want to come watch the A's in Vegas?
And I'm going to say, and Josh, that is part of the reason, because the mayor, she's offering them, like you said, somewhere else. She doesn't want them on the Strip, because that's an unincorporated place. But also for John Fisher, if he goes to the Strip, he's going to have to pay for the bulk of that stadium, and he doesn't want to do that.
Well, so actually, what's today? Today is the 8th.
8th.
So tomorrow, again, I follow Nevada politics. Tomorrow, the Nevada Supreme Court is hearing a referendum from a super PAC called Schools for Stadiums. And during that referendum, because keep in mind, last year, they went to court, Schools for Stadiums, super PAC did. The judge rejected it. He said, oh, you didn't explain why, you should get to vote on this issue. So he rejected it. Well, they took it to the Supreme Court, and now the Supreme Court is going to hear if people in Nevada should get to vote on it in November. That would be a death sentence because it's not going to get approved. It's not going to get approved.
He got cooked by the fact.
Bob Manfred's fucking personal nightmare. And that's why I say that if it does, depending on how this Supreme Court thing goes tomorrow, because if it gets approved and that at the hearing, they're like, oh, they can go ahead with the referendum. The group now has until June to compile 100,000 signatures to get it on as a referendum, to get it on the ballot in November. We already saw people aren't trying to pay for billionaires' fucking playthings anymore, man.
Yeah, and that's something to look out for, not only in baseball but the entire sports landscape.
We saw it in Kansas City.
Yeah, these billion-dollar valuations. People are smarter now, just flat out, and it's like, no, we're not going to raise taxes, and then we get stuck with the stadium because they've seen the results. They've seen the cities that promise more jobs, promise more money, and then you turn around and the city stuck with its $400 million bill.
And Nevada has gotten
Chicago
too many times by their own politicians. It happened when they passed marijuana, when they legalized marijuana and said it was going to the schools, and it has not gone to schools. It's literally been funneled right back into the stadiums and the infrastructure surrounding the stadiums that the owners of the stadiums were supposed to pay for. They've been burned too many times.
Yeah, some say Chicago is still paying for Comiskey Park, and that opened in 94, 96 or something like that, but they're still paying that off. It's a joke, and it's a joke that they've been able to get away with it for so long. But I think now it's a great thing that you have fans who are smart enough to realize, wait a minute, you're not going to try to guilt trip us into this when you have all of this money where you can do it yourself.
Yep. Go get your billionaire fucking buddies together. I know y'all be sitting on yachts and shit, just yakking it up. Go. Listen, if it's such a good investment and it's so lucrative, right? If it's so financially lucrative, then you fucking pay for it. Oh, well, we're bringing jobs. Well, Oakland, keep in mind, a lot of people are going to be getting laid off if and when y'all do relocate. So what do you mean? Yep. What do you mean? You're creating jobs and then killing jobs. And it's also, we've already seen the impacts of stadiums. That's already been a study that we've done. That's the economic, it doesn't make that much money.
At all.
It doesn't make that much money for the city.
It only makes money for the team. And shout out to Jason Burke from Sports Illustrated. He's the one who wrote the article, because a new stadium will probably add over $1 billion in value to the A's. But you got to think, if Fisher has to take that $1 billion out of his pocket, he's not making a profit. So that's why he's hesitant to do it. And you saw when the league agreed to let him move the team to Vegas, they also told him, oh, by the way, if you sell any part of this team, we're going to tax the shit out of you. Mm-hmm. So again, they're hitting him in his pocket. So now he's really at a fork in the road. Like, how are we going to do this? Because everything he was trying to do is it's not going to work.
I would not be surprised if that team is for sale by Christmas time.
Yeah, and they're going to stay in Oakland.
After the end of the season, once the dust is kind of settled, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be terribly surprised. Not at all.
Yeah. And if the PR keeps up at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the owners turned around and told him, hey, bro, no. Like, you're not about to leave the 7th largest market to go somewhere else, and you don't even have shit set up.
Again, and what I don't understand is, and maybe, we've already kind of been talking maybe slight politics. It's so like the Bay Area to fuck Oakland. It's so unbelievably on brand. And I don't mean just baseball. It's so on brand to fuck the people of Oakland. And we can get into the nitty gritty behind, all that. But like, the Warriors left. You could have literally built the stadium, fucking demolished the goddamn Coliseum, and built the shit there. But now San Jose has the Sharks. So you got that part of the Bay covered. You got the Giants up there. The Warriors are up there. They got NBA and they got baseball up there. And Oakland gets what?
They done. Yeah,
that's trash. That's trash.
Yeah.
Fuck John Fisher.
Sad
Fuck Rob
time.
Manfred too.
I can't say that, but I feel you.
Yeah. I got you. I know I was talking a lot about how I would be surprised about if they sold the team. Moving on to more surprises. Again, we're only 10 games into the season, so I can't get too crazy. And I'm not talking about, which teams have surprised. Oh, I didn't realize that the Dodgers. No. I'm not talking about, the people we already know were going to be good. I have a couple of teams, just one in both categories, that have surprised me and disappointed me. And I'm not talking about the obvious usual suspects. Okay. We already knew the White Sox were trash, guys. That doesn't shock anybody. But for me, the biggest surprise and probably the most fun story are the Pittsburgh Pirates. That has been by far the biggest surprise of the season. They have taken 2 L's this season, one to Washington, which, sometimes those happen, and then one to Baltimore, which again, there was never a point in that loss to Baltimore where they weren't still in it. So I know nothing is won in April, but it's really nice to see that city, such a gorgeous ballpark, see them having a good time. They're 8-2 right now, plus 18 run differential. They're currently, again, small sample size. Their leadoff hitters are ranked 4th in OBP, 5th in OPS, and 6th in slugging league wide. So guys are getting on base. They're doing what they got to do, getting some balls to bats, and they're having fun in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, with it being so early, I couldn't do teams. I did players, even though, like I said,
no,
hella early.
Because I got some sleeping. Tyler O'Neill, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah, but my surprise guy more than anybody has been Jordan Hicks. Like, because for years we've been waiting on him to finally, he had to get healthy first. He had Tommy John, forearm injuries, things like that. But he was a reliever, and the plan for the Cardinals all along was to stretch him out and eventually make him a starting pitcher. He went over to Toronto. The Cardinals pretty much gave up on him at the break last year. Went up to Toronto, had a solid second half of the year. But this year he signed with the Giants, and he's been a starter primarily. And his first start, he went 5 innings, struck out 5. But then in his second start, this was the one that was like, okay, this is what we're looking for from Jordan. For him to go 7 strong innings, he threw 91 pitches. And I think it was pitch 86, 87, 88. He went 99, 97, 98. So as the game was going on, he still had his best stuff with him. And that's something you want to see with somebody that's trying to develop and starting to really work on that stamina, because that's what he said. That was the primary thing he worked on this offseason. So my biggest surprise is, I would say, Jordan Hicks.
And now, good for him. Actually, speaking of season start tonight, Blake Snell getting his first start for the Giants. That's not a bad person to have in your clubhouse with you, helping you out. So that's a good call. Mine, as far as surprise players, Tyler O'Neill, crazy. I saw some of the power when I went to that exhibition game against the Red Sox or against the Red Sox Rangers. What was that? 2 weeks ago, and I said, Tyler O'Neill back.
Man,
crazy.
I got another one. I've been on my pitches lately, but from my bum ass White Sox, Garrett Crochet. This is a guy who hadn't started. He hadn't started a game since 2019. Since his arm injury, we hadn't seen him touch high 90s. He's hit triple digits a couple times. He's been in the high 90s. The sweeper looks disgusting. He's actually back to the high leg kick, which I love, because for some reason they had him pitching primarily from the stretch as opposed to the windup. And I just didn't understand that with his size and his power that he gets from his legs to take away his windup. But he's back doing that, and he's really hurling right now. Like, obviously, we ain't gonna win shit.
Comeback player of the year.
I think he will have a chance, because I think he is the only reason to ever watch that game.
Doesn't decide to end up having a crazy season and end up being a fucking all-star this year. I think it's possible.
Yeah, but that's a guy. Like, I think there's no other reason to watch the White Sox besides Garrett. That's it.
Facts. And we will slander the Chicago White Sox accordingly in the local hour. So definitely make sure that y'all tap in for that. However, I do want to get to my biggest disappointment so far, because we did talk about it. And I can't remember if it was you that said that this team right here was going to be sneaky good. And I've yet to see it. The Toronto Blue Jays, what the are they doing?
I know that was Mikey.
Toronto Blue Jays have like no offensive.
That was our Puerto Rican brother.
Oh, was that Mikey? Oh, yeah. I wish he was here so I could slander him personally. They have been absolutely atrocious. They have a 4-6 record right now, a -17 run differential. And I'm not sure how many of you know out there, they were a part of that no-hitter by Ronel Blanco, the first no-hitter of the Major League Baseball season in 2024. Super fucking embarrassing. The team, and I'm looking at their stats right now, and like, listen, you would think in a team that has Vlad Guerrero Jr., Kevin Biggio, Bo Bichette, and that they would, it's fucking ugly over there. No one in the lineup is batting above 240. That's fucking atrocious. Oh my God. Yeah, it's a fucking dumpster fire over there. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but and I did say it before the season started when we talked about managers on the hot seat. John Schneider, bud, if you don't fix it by May, it's getting late early. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I think if he doesn't turn the ship around by May, I think he might get fired. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it to the summer break.
It's gonna get ugly up there, especially because they just renovated. They spent a lot of money renovating the Rogers Center. If you get a chance, go to Toronto. It is a amazing ballpark. And actually,
I never even been to Mexico.
You
never.
And you live in Arizona?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But no, Mexico's never been like on my like list of places to go. I would like to go to Canada, but I've just never left the country. And I was like, is my first place out of the country really going to be fucking Canada? No offense to my oh Canada, love what you guys
like great national anthem, love that song.
So good,
but no, that's a quick trip and it's a great ballpark. But my disappointed, I can actually put these two together because my disappointing players are on the same team. It's the Miami Marlins. They are fucking terrible. They are 1-9. They are I think they're bottom 2 offense right now.
Shout out to that one win though, and I'm pretty sure they also have like their run differentials like the same as the fucking White Sox.
Oh no, yeah, it's horrible. I want to say everybody's favorite talkative Bohemian Jazz Chisholm is batting a rousing 206 right now. So you gotta love that. I don't know what the fuck Tim Anderson is doing. I'm not even gonna talk about bro no more. I'm gonna just pray for him. Hopefully he bounces back. But
you got all these women zapping your powers. You know,
he let that shit happen. He ain't been the same since King Von died. Like his powers went with him. Like it's a wrap. Like he's terrible. But yeah, the Miami Marlins. Shout out to Jake Berger though. Jake Berger, that was a terrible trade by the Chicago White Sox because you had him on team control. He's continued to do nothing but hit. And so yeah, the Miami Marlins, because I did think they had an opportunity to compete with the Phillies for that wild card spot because we know how the NL East is, and with the Mets being out of it, I really thought Miami had an opportunity to take advantage of that. But right now they look lost.
And for those who don't know, the Miami Marlins did void Skip Schumacher's, the manager of the Marlins. They did void his option for 2025. Which is crazy. Like you're telling someone in advance that you're going to fire them.
So they set the seat on fire. Like they set the whole seat on fire.
Like they threw him right in with gasoline draws. It's crazy. Poor guy. Tough scene. Justice for Kim Ang. Honestly, this is Kim Ang's revenge right here.
Facts. Big facts. That is facts. They did her dirty.
The curse of Ang. That's stamp it. TM.
And yeah, man, that's another edition of the Hot Corner. This will be a podcast within the next couple of weeks. Check that out on the Barber's Chair Network. You basically just get what you saw, but in a larger format. We can get into all the nitty-gritty weekly happenings in the MLB. And yes, you're right, Dante. Favorite talking Bahamian. That nigga has been on every podcast.
Oh my God, bro.
And there should be a rule. If you're batting under the Mendoza line, you should not be in front of a microphone at all. 100%, man. But that is going to be the end of today's episode. We went a little bit over, a little overtime today because we ain't did nothing in about 2 weeks. But we are about to take care of the local hour right now. It will be the four of us. We're going to be giving our opinions on the White Sox and Cubs first 2 weeks of the season. Definitely this will be Courtney's local hour debut. And then, of course, not Dante, but Bang will be joining us in the local hour too. We're going to be talking about, this is a conversation, it's probably like a week or two old, but like I said, we ain't been on the air in 2 weeks. We're going to talk about is Chicago ready for things that comes with the eccentric Caleb Williams conversation? You know, a lot of people
Don't have fun with that.
Yeah, she'll be going before we get to that part. She just put a Caleb Williams band.
Yeah. I'm gonna stop now.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all signs pointing to the Bears keeping the 9th pick. What are they going to do with that? Roma Dunze just had his top 30 visit at Hallis Hall this past week. Also going to talk about Ryan Poles going to like this press run the last couple of weeks. What did you take from that? Much different than past Bears general manager. Really different than Chicago general managers in general. And then we'll talk about Billy Donovan possibly leaving the Bulls to go to Kentucky. Who could his replacement be, man? So get all that on patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network, man. Subscribe to the $5 feed if you want. Just I'm not gonna hold you, or $10 for all of them, man. And also we're gonna have like an actual, me and Dante got a special Patreon project. It's dropping real soon. Very excited about this. We will have news of that next week.
Wow, that's crazy. How do I not even know about it?
Well, I don't think nobody really knows except us two. Like,
that's wild.
I was just about to say we haven't talked to anyone
on the metaphorical payroll, but I don't know what the fuck's going on. That's wild.
We will inform you as soon as we get done with this.
All right.
Look out for that. That's gonna be real special. We're gonna announce that next week. So it's like, it's gonna be a lot of summer post NBA content for y'all on the Barbershop Network, man. So of course, y'all can follow Courtney at 1-800-COLLAR-BRO. You can follow Dante at OctoberZoneTay. Follow JR Bang at JR Bang on all social media platforms. Follow me at Barbershop Scott. Follow the Barbershop Network at Barbershop Net. On Twitter and Instagram, follow HB Media at HB Media TV on Twitter and at HB Media on Instagram. And of course, get in tune with our sponsors, Pillars. PillarsClub.co. Visit Pillars_Club on Instagram, or visit any of their 3 locations in the Chicagoland area. There's the one in the West Loop, there's one in Chicago Ridge Mall, and there's one in Orland Park Mall. Get in tune with that. The homie Mike will be back on Friday for Cousin Dan Friday. Who knows what Dan wants to talk about? We ain't spoke to him like a month. So
shit.
Who knows what's on his mind?
Reading J.Cole's album from his fucking Apple Music.
Yeah, who knows what we want to talk about on Friday. So get in tune with that. We got to knock out the local out, man. So we gonna holler at y'all.